What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 11 BS 229. The prison is full, so we won't arrest anyone alive. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Buggy was planning to run away anyway. The reason why he encouraged his men to attack, they just wanted to take advantage of these guys' ignorance to delay Marine. Then he looked for an opportunity to escape. What? A confrontation with Marine. What a joke. Buggy the clown is not stupid. No matter what the scale is now, don't even look at what will happen to those who choose to fight hard over the past 6 months. No one is alive. Even characters like the 4 emperors are dead. Buggy the clown still has some self-awareness. He didn't think he could do any harm to Marine. He didn't think he could stand up to Marine either. He didn't even think he could escape, but now there is no other option. Only by using these relatively excited subordinates can we escape from here. Really, after a morale boost from Buggy the clown. These subordinates are like chicken blood. 803 started to go crazy in an instant. All took up arms. Then he drove other pirate ships and began to charge towards Marine crazily. Buggy and his cadres, everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Advertisement. Don't these guys know what fear is? At this time, the third brother suddenly said, "Buggy, are you planning to run away?" Buggy the clown turned green and said, "How can it be? We are the ones who want to kill Marine. I won't run away." The third brother covered his forehead and said speechlessly, "Stop pretending. You are planning to run away. What are you waiting for? Run now, before they go up and delay Marine." The animal trainer and the acrobat came up together and said, "BFCI. Boss, there is no Marine behind us now, let's just turn around and run." They have been following Buggy the clown, so they know him best. There is absolutely no way the boss would rush up and fight Marine. Now, these things have already rushed up under Buggy. The remaining 20 pirate ships he piloted, he yelled excitedly and launched an attack on Marine. Rumble. I saw Kizaru shooting a laser beam over. In an instant, a row of pirate ships appeared, at least 5 or 6 of which exploded. And on the other side, Akainu punched hard. The huge magma also directly sank 5 or 6 pirate ships. 2 admirals took action. Almost half of the people were wiped out. But these pirates seemed not to be afraid. Advertisement. Still pushing forward. "Come on, Boss Buggy is right behind us, we don't have to be afraid. Boss Buggy will take care of these 2 Marine admirals." But at this moment, Buggy saw this scene. Admiral is indeed untouchable. He waved his hand without hesitation, "Turn around. Run." With the remaining cadres, directly turned the pirate ship 180 degrees. Then without hesitation, he started running backwards with full power. The pirates in front were stunned. They're still waiting for Boss Buggy to come and kill these 2 admirals. But suddenly I discovered, the boss actually sailed away directly. It's simply impossible to accept this fact. These guys were fooled by Buggy. Why did the boss run away? This is too deceiving. What should we do? It's over. Seeing Buggy the clown running away, these pirates instantly lost their ability to resist. In an instant, he lost all will to fight. Gang gun surrendered. Rumble. Kizaru and Akainu did not coddle them. Because Ron has already explained it. Advertisement. Just now, Ron said, there are not enough places for underwater prisons. What did this mean? Kizaru and Akainu suddenly understood. That is to try not to catch anyone alive. Ever since, the 2 admirals took action personally. I have to say that Buggy's treatment is comparable to that of 4 emperors. 8-foot Magatama, meteor volcano, in an instant. There are flames in the sky, half of the sky is shining with golden light. Half of the sky was filled with flames. This sea area is like boiling water. These smelly fish and rotten shrimps were wiped out in almost an instant. Buggy is confused. I thought I could rely on these stinky fish and rotten shrimps to delay for a little longer. Who would have thought? It couldn't even last 10 seconds. It's over. Why doesn't the boat move? Buggy turned around. Only then did I see that the entire sea suddenly turned into ice. Planted his pirate ship on the sea. In just 10 seconds, the entire sea was transformed into a world of ice and fire. Buggy almost cried. Isn't that the case? 3 Marine admirals were dispatched to deal with him. 230. Break through the last barrier of Raftel. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Now, the entire sea was frozen into a piece of ice. Buggy the clown's pirate ship cannot move. Like fish on the chopping board. Let others slaughter you. Buggy the clown saw countless Marine soldiers rushing towards him on the ice. This is disheartening. He also didn't understand why Marine never let him go. But this situation, there should be no hope for him to break through. Soon, Buggy the clown was swallowed up by Marine. Marine follows convention. Collect all the treasures on the Naval Buggy's ship. and sent someone to take over their logistics company. After all, if Ron built logistics from scratch, it would still take him a day. But Joker and his company have already completed most of the infrastructure. Just use it directly, after killing the clown. The Marine fleet continued to move at full speed in the direction of Raftel. The journey ahead. Basically there are no pirate ships to be seen. And the whole sea began to become unstable. There are also more and more sea kings. Advertisement. The main thing is crossing a calm belt. If Ron hadn't made changes to Marine's various warships in advance, all Vegapunk would have broken through. There's really no way to get through this calm belt. Almost all warships now have external power wheels. When there is no wind, the external power wheel is used for driving. Still very fast. It seems we are getting closer to our destination. Sengoku said as he looked at the thunderclouds in the sky and the churning of the sea. Yes, no wonder there are no other ships as we get closer to here. It's so dangerous that other ships don't dare to come. This also explains why Laudale was not accidentally discovered by other ships. It turns out there are so many natural barriers. Garp came to the deck with his arms crossed. Look at the rolling waves around you and the thunderclouds in the sky. I couldn't help but take a deep breath. It is too dangerous to break through this place. Because they are standing on the boat now. These attacks may not do much against them, but they can easily destroy any ship. If one is accidentally struck by lightning or overturned by waves, those hundreds of thousands of Marine soldiers are doomed. They now have more than 100 ships, and it is impossible to ensure that they can pass through here unscathed. Sengoku raised his hand and ordered all warships to stop. You can't go through it directly, it's too dangerous. Invite Inspector General Ron to come down for discussion. Now Sengoku has a profound understanding of the truth, that is, if you have any questions, go to Ron. Anyway, he can't solve the current situation. Advertisement. Might as well see what the Inspector General thinks. Should we prepare to take a detour, prepare to turn back, or should we let other engineers stay here on standby? It all depends on what Ron says. After a while, Ron walked down from above speechlessly. What else happened? Sengoku immediately pointed forward and reported what happened in front of him. Ron looked at the thunderclouds in the sky, and the ever-churning sea. Then he looked at Fujitora and asked, "Is there no way to fly up from above?" Fujitora shook his head, then he said in a deep voice. "This place is very abnormal. I tried it just now, but as long as I enter the sea area ahead, I can't use the devil fruit ability." Ron was a little surprised. Is there such a setting? No wonder no one has been able to reach Raftel. Please give me flowers. Because if you want to cross this sea, there is no way to rely on devil fruit's ability. That is to say, all you have to do is sail the boat recklessly. Ron looked back at the massive Marine fleet. He couldn't help but shook his head. There are so many Marine fleets if we insist on rushing over. It is estimated that the whole army may be annihilated. Advertisement. But there was no problem with the Pluton rushing over. All Marine saw was the frown on Ron's face. I couldn't help but understand that it seemed that they were not qualified to pass. If not even the Inspector General can do anything about it. 0.0 then they can only stay here and wait. After all, for these ordinary warships, they also know the consequences of forcing their way through. Even Sengoku couldn't help but sigh when he saw Ron's expression. It was originally agreed to take all the Marines to Raftel. It seems this is the current situation. There is no way to do it. After all, you can't joke with the lives of Marine soldiers. If they were allowed to rush over, they would catch up with the entire Marine fleet. Sengoku and several other Marine executives looked at each other. It seems it's time to issue an order. Let the other warships wait here, and then they drive Pluton and rush over. Although the other Marine soldiers were a little sad, after all, they had already walked so far and there was no way to reach the last step. But they also know that there is really no other way. I am also ready to accept my fate. They all thought that what Ron said next was to tell them to wait here. But what they never expected was, Ron said calmly. Let's go together, you just keep sailing forward. I'll take care of the rest. 231. Because it was the Inspector General's order, no one flinched. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. When Ron said this, all the Marines were stunned. Isn't it? Do you think we can go there too? But the thunder and lightning in the sky are so fierce, if you rush over, you will definitely be knocked down. And there is no way to use the devil fruit ability here. What on earth is the Inspector General going to do? These Marine soldiers are all confused. Although they wanted to go there, it was really dangerous. If they break in by force, they will have no way to resist the thunder in the sky. After all, although the strength of their 847 has been strengthened to a certain extent, it is not yet strong enough to compete with the power of nature. So, when they heard Ron's words, everyone was stunned. It's not just them, even Marine's top brass looked confused. Sengoku took a deep breath, then walked over and said, "Inspector General, are you sure? Advertisement, do you really want to take them with you?" Their strength is not enough to face this kind of danger. If they force their way through, it is estimated that none of these warships will survive. Sengoku is still a little worried after all, especially when he looked up at the impenetrable dark clouds in the sky. They are now in a safe zone. As long as they take another step forward, there will be raging seas and rolling thunder. Not to mention these ordinary marine soldiers, even if they want to resist these dangers and survive the sea ahead. There are also certain difficulties, after all. In Sengoku's mind, as soon as a while passed, the marine admirals and marine senior leaders would be responsible for resisting the thunder and lightning in the sky. Without using devil fruit, he can only rely on Haki and his powerful physical skills to prevent lightning from sinking the ship. This is the only way. Even they need this, let alone these ordinary marine soldiers. Hear Sengoku say this. Several other marine admirals couldn't help but look over. When devil fruit cannot be used. Advertisement relying purely on physical skills and Haki. I want to get through such a thunder and lightning zone. It is indeed difficult. Kizaru touched his chin and said with a crooked mouth. Not only do they have to deal with thunder and lightning in the sky, but they also have to deal with rolling waves. These warships can't fly like the Pluton, so even if they can't resist the thunder and lightning in the sky, they can still sail on such rough seas. It won't be long before the boat capsizes. I have to say that the opinions provided by Kizaru are becoming more and more constructive now. After getting rid of the habit of fishing, this guy is still a qualified admiral. Aokiji sighed and said, it would be great if I could use my ability. Then I could freeze the sea. Unfortunately, Devil Fruit's ability can't have any effect on this sea area. Indeed, in fact, as long as you can use the fruit's ability, there are many ways to survive this sea and cross this thunder. The problem now is that there is no way to use the ability. So no one knows what Ron is going to do. All eyes turned to Ron. Ron just shook his head at this time. Then he took off the cloak behind him and threw it to Tashigi beside him. Then he slowly walked to the bow of the ship. He said in a tone that left no room for doubt. Advertisement. Listen to my order, all fleets just need to move forward. Although everyone is afraid of the danger ahead. I was still scared before, but after Ron said this. The entire marine fleet, not a single ship flinched. They all turned on full power and began to sprint towards the Sea of Death. Just because this is the command of Romans chapter 4.8, Ron moved his wrist now. Then he put his fists into his waist. Everyone was stunned when they saw this action. What is the Inspector General doing? He doesn't want to crush thunder with one punch, does he? How can it be? The thunderclouds in the sky stretch for thousands of miles with no end in sight. They can't be dispersed with one punch. Among the stunned marine admirals, Ron suddenly punched forward. 232. Apart from saying that the Inspector General is awesome, what else can I say? Previous chapter next chapter advertisement in the midst of everyone's shocked eyes. Ron swung hard in front of him, punched seriously. In an instant, a majestic force gathered on his fist. With a fierce punch from Ron, this force has been compressed to ultimate and suddenly released. One can imagine what kind of effect it will have. The entire surrounding air was instantly evacuated. The seemingly invisible force formed a fist visible to the naked eye in the air. Cutting through the air, cut the sky in pieces. Wherever the punch goes, the entire sea is directly divided into two. The sea was originally rough. At this moment, a bottomless ravine opened directly in the middle. In an instant, all the originally rough waves were pushed to both sides. Advertisement. If you raise the angle of view and look at the entire sea surface, it can be found. In the middle of this rolling sea surface, it seems like a pair of invisible hands split the two waves in two from the middle. There was no direction before, and waves swept everywhere. At this moment, it was directed towards both sides, and ultimate pushed out. Everyone on the boat took a breath when they saw this scene. Kizaru touched his crooked chin and mouth. As expected of the Inspector General, this punch is even more powerful than before. I thought that the previous one was the limit of the Inspector General. It seems that I am still too young. Akainu said with a cold snort. Don't take your little knowledge for granted. Sengoku and Garp looked at each other. Only then can you see the frightened expression in the other person's eyes. They didn't know how big the entire sea was, but the only thing that is certain is that no one has had such a big impact on the sea before. This punch is equivalent to combing the entire sea surface. Garp took a deep breath and suddenly laughed. Advertisement. When will my fist training reach this point? Ha ha ha. Sengoku rolled his eyes at him angrily. Don't even think about it. All Marines had incredible expressions on their faces. This was their first time watching Ron punch at such a close distance. Moreover, they had seen with their own eyes what the sea looked like before. In contrast, it was really shocking, but it's more than that. As soon as this punch hit, the whole sky was filled with angry thunder. Dark clouds over the city, but now, with this punch, the clouds in the entire sky split directly. Unlike the entire divided sea, the dark clouds in the sky were immediately dispersed. The dark clouds were impacted by this punch, as if they were marshmallows thrown into the water. Instantly dissipated directly in the air. The originally oppressive dark skies suddenly cleared away the clouds and mist, and the sun shone in again. Advertisement: the sky became blue again. Where can I still see traces of dark clouds? This punch directly changed the weather. The lightning 113 that was constantly raging naturally disappeared due to the disappearance of the dark clouds. This moment, everyone who saw this scene was stunned and didn't know what to say. I was frightened by the sight before me. This is really too scary. This punch not only split the sea, but also scattered the sky. It was simply unbelievable that it was a punch thrown by a human being. Terrible. There was even a marine who was so frightened that he sat directly on the deck. A natural danger that humans could not survive. At this moment, he was subdued by Inspector General Ron. The weather is also sunny. The sea is also calm. Everyone who saw this scene couldn't help but exclaim at the same time. The Inspector General is awesome. 233. If Ron were a pirate, it would be scary to think about it. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. It was a terrifying scene to watch. Everyone present was stunned. I really can't believe it. This is actually something humans can do. Kizaru touched his chin. Looking at the split sea and sky ahead, I swear, I will never touch fish again, otherwise Inspector General Ron will really punch him to death. No matter how long I spend with Ron, no matter how many times I saw him take action. Every time he takes action, he will still shock everyone. It's an unbelievable scene. Master Inspector, as long as you are here alone, there is no need for so many Marines. Kizaru touched his chin, with a crooked mouth. He said with a shocked look on his face, "Okay, stop flattering me." Ron said calmly. Kizaru, even though he has changed his habit of fishing, but got into the habit of flattering again. Sengoku was also confused. Advertisement? Ravdel's last line of defense was so easily solved? It's just unbelievable. Garp also wiped the sweat from his forehead. Fortunately, Ron is one of our own. If this were the enemy, our Marine would have no hope of victory at all. 2. Staff officer, he said, you too have said this many times. Sengoku laughed and said, but this is the truth. If Ron chooses the Marine camp, then Marine will win. On the contrary, if Ron chooses to be a pirate, that is, if he is a pirate, then our current fate at Marine is estimated to be no different from those of the 4 emperors. Sengoku's words, everyone present was stunned. He also woke up everyone with his words, I don't dare think about it. That's right. If the Inspector General is really a pirate, that's not his opponent at all. Even if all the admirals are used together, it will be of no use. Thinking of this, everyone couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. Summit War is so weak. Advertisement: Whitebeard led his men to launch this most powerful attack. Nothing more. At that time, it is estimated that Ron will kill Marineford alone. With the power of one person, Marine can be wiped from this world. It scares me just to think about it. Everyone can even imagine that kind of scene. Ron was alone, sitting on a boat with a faint pirate flag belonging to Ron. Then, all warships are responsible for intercepting Ron's ship. As a result, he was killed immediately afterwards. Ron felt like he was in a deserted place, walking along Marineford's harbor. All the Marines rushed to stop Ron. The 3 Marine admirals all dispatched. Sengoku, Garp and other legendary Marines also followed suit. Subsequently, Ron was under the watchful eyes of all the Marines. One punch at a time. No, it is possible that with one punch, everyone, along with the Marine headquarters, will be wiped from this world. Advertisement: subsequently, other pirates on the sea were also subdued by Ron, and those who disobeyed would be killed on the spot. What 4 emperors, Supernova, will become Ron's little brother? One Piece location, that's just one sentence from Ron. When I think of this, everyone couldn't help but turn pale. This is too possible. If Inspector General Ron were a pirate, it would be easy to achieve this level. 337. Ron looked at everyone's faces and looked pale. I couldn't help but feel a little confused. What's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? Sengoku, Garp, the 3 admirals and the sensing soldiers came to their senses after hearing Ron's words. Then they all shook their heads. He waved his hands quickly and said, No, 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 just remembering something terrible. Ron shook his head and said, since everything is okay, everyone will return to their respective posts. Set sail. Go to Laudale. 234. Marine headquarters attacked. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Although there are no enemies on the sea now. But, it's not absolutely safe either, especially after learning that all Marine troops had withdrawn from Marine. Some pirates feel that Malinfondo is empty now, there is no defense left. So, got some worries. I want to take advantage of the fact that Marine's large force is not around to attack Marine. Have to say, a pirate who thinks this way, not a few. After all, Marine has done too much damage to pirates, and most pirates hate Marine very much. Without Marine, it would still be the era of great pirates. They can still run amok on the sea, burning, killing and looting. Rather than like now, 950 is hiding everywhere, worse than a mouse. The glorious pirate has now become a clown hiding in Tibet. Advertisement so these usually unknown pirates all united together. Prepare for a big one, while everyone at Marine is leaving. Blow up the Marine headquarters. This can be regarded as a bad breath, and it can also dampen Marine's arrogance. Marine can be disrupted in this way. Let them focus on one thing and not the other. After all, the headquarters was bombed, which is a huge insult to any organization. It will also damage their prestige. Maybe we can recreate the glory of the great pirate era. When I think of this, these pirates began to unite. Then wait for Marine to leave Marine headquarters. At this time, Marine had left Marine headquarters for several days. Through careful observation, these pirates discovered that Marine would not be able to come back in a short time. Ever since, they have now gathered near Marineford Harbor. Advertisement prepared to take advantage of this headquarters' weakest defense. Attack the Marine headquarters in one fell swoop. Then make an announcement to the world. To this end, they also specially invited several newspapers and media. Broadcast the entire process live. This is also for revenge. Marine's previous live broadcast of the entire Summit War caused Marine's prestige to skyrocket. And this time, they are about to attack Malinfondo and broadcast the whole thing live again. To re-establish the prestige of pirates and BFCA, to attack the prestige of pirates. Have to say, these guys still had a good plan. But they didn't expect it. Although there is no Marine left at the Marine headquarters, those who remain there are more terrifying than Marines. After all, as the head of the world government, Im's travels are kept strictly confidential, making it impossible for outsiders to know. So no one noticed her the whole way to Marine headquarters. Advertisement. It is naturally impossible for these hairy pirates to know this top secret news. So now they really think that the Marine headquarters has no defense. Just wait for them to attack. There are probably more than 100 large and small pirate ships at the moment. Lined up in a row on the sea, it is very spectacular. Wait until all reporters are in place. Simultaneous live broadcast is also enabled. Suddenly the whole world was in an uproar when they saw this scene. Let's not talk about the level of strength, but the scale is not as spectacular as when Whitebeard attacked. Holy shit, what are these guys doing? Are they going to attack the Marine headquarters? Pirates are really despicable guys. Knowing that Marine is not at the headquarters now, they will take this opportunity to attack the headquarters. Damn it, if you can, come here while Marine is here. Sneak attack is nothing. Although these viewers are very anxious, but there was nothing they could do. I could only watch this scene with clenched fists. And just then, the pirates who gathered together suddenly began to attack. 235. Pirates attack Marineford live, 5 elders furious. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Marine headquarters at the moment. The troops stationed there are all elite troops of the world government. I am here after all, so the defense here will never be lax. The 5 elders are all personally in charge, not to mention other defense powers. If something happens to Jean I am here, the world government will be completely embarrassed. So, the defense here may be much stricter than when Marine was here. Now, I am visiting Marine headquarters. Suddenly, the leader of the CPO came in to report. 5 elders immediately scolded. Why are you in such a hurry? I'm sorry to disturb you, Master I am, but you look good. Face the roar of the 5 elders. The CPO frowned and calmed down his rapid breathing before speaking. Advertisement. Oh no, something big happened. 5 elders, fat, frowned. What made you so panicked? The CPO said slowly. Someone is attacking Malavondo. The attack on the port has begun. These words made everyone stunned. No one thought that there were actually people who were not afraid of death. He actually chose to look for trouble at this time. But what worries the 5 elders even more at this moment? They actually chose this time to attack Marine Fando. This is obviously not giving them 5 faces. If this kind of turmoil is allowed to happen, Lord I Am will definitely doubt their ability to do things. After all, I Am came here to help guard the Marine headquarters after accepting Ron's commission. If something happened here, then where does Master Im's face go? The 5 elders know very well how much Lord I Am loves his younger brother. So absolutely nothing can happen here, now, after hearing the news. The 5 old guys all looked at I Am, and found that something was wrong with Im's face. This made these 5 old guys break into a cold sweat. Advertisement. I saw the 5 of them talking quickly. 5 elders, Sword, Lord I Am, please leave this matter to us and ensure that the Marine headquarters will not be damaged in any way. 5 elders, Fat Man, Lord I Am, this incident is definitely an accident. I promise that nothing like this will happen again. I Am didn't look back and just said calmly, What are you waiting for? Go quickly. If Marin Fanduo is attacked and damaged in any way, the 5 of you don't have to come back. As soon as this statement came out, the 5 elders instantly stood on their heads. Said immediately. Yes. Next moment, these 5 guys immediately used shave and disappeared in an instant. Don't dare to waste a moment. I'm afraid that wasting time here will cause Marineford to be attacked and damaged. They know how I am doing things. If this is true, then the 5 of them really have no chance to come back. The CPO leader saw 5 old guys moving so fast, I couldn't help but sigh secretly. Just now these 5 guys actually said that they were in a panic and unseemly. Advertisement as a result, they were more panicked than anyone else. However, it is impossible for him to stay here for too long. After all, it is also his task to protect Marin Fanduo. So he followed suit. Now, these pirates from the outside world discovered that there were no warships at all in the port of Malavondo. Becoming more unscrupulous, they began to dock one after another. They all jumped off the warships, and there were at least nearly 20,000 pirates in the crowd. I saw them raising their weapons. He chanted, "Get all Marine." After all, they received reliable information that all Marines have now left the headquarters, and there is no Marine in the entire Malinfan. So they want to take advantage of this opportunity. Raided Marine's lair, but they don't know that Marine is currently guarded by world government troops. I thought there was no one here, so they even called in reporters from many newspapers. Just to record the process of robbing Malavondo. At this moment, all these reporters followed and raised their cameras. After all, this is huge news, if they really let them take down the Marine headquarters. This is simply more exciting than Summit War at that time. 236. 5 elders appear, changes in style during live broadcast. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement now, with these reporters live. The images were broadcast around the world, everyone is paying attention to this scene. After all, Marine's reputation now resounds throughout the world, and Marine's prestige has permeated the entire world. Everyone has to admit that Marine has the final say at sea now. That's why today's scene is particularly eye-catching. Today, when all the pirates have been almost wiped out, 20,000 Marines can still be gathered to attack the Marine headquarters in 0. Although everyone knows that Marine is not in the headquarters at this time. But that's what makes everyone even more angry. Look at the arrogance and domineering appearance of these pirates. I was so angry. These guys know how to sneak attack when no one is here, right? If Marine were here, they wouldn't know where they were hiding in a dark corner, so how could they come here? Everyone who saw the live broadcast was furious. Certainly, advertisement some people are very happy. Because they saw the future of pirates and the dawn of the restart of the Great Pirate Era. If these pirates really took over the Marine headquarters, it will be a huge blow to Marine's prestige, then the pirates will surely make a comeback. When I think of this, these would be pirates who were eager to try were very excited. This is the main reason why this place attracts so much attention. Everyone wants to know where this era will go in the future. At this time, suddenly, a large number of men in black suddenly poured out of the Marine headquarters, which was originally empty. The pirates rushed towards them from all directions. These happy pirates were instantly shocked. They originally thought there was no one here at all. So I don't think there is any danger here. This is why he is so unscrupulous. Who would have thought that? Advertisement so many black people rushed out from all directions, and the number was quite large. These pirates stopped for an instant and looked at each other. Compared to the previous Summit War, although it is also an attack on Marine headquarters. But compared with Whitebeard and the others, these pirates are nothing more than generals. There is no comparison at all. At this moment, they suddenly panicked. What's going on? Where did so many people come from? This is really terrifying. Is it to ambush us? How is it possible? Look at the clothes these people are wearing, they are not Marines at all. These guys are the world government army, why are they here? Everyone suddenly remembered that this outfit was not Marines' outfit at all. But it is the clothes of the world government soldiers that are rarely seen in ordinary times. But here comes the problem. Why are they here? Aren't the world government's armies supposed to be in Marijoy? Advertisement they will not leave Marijoy easily. Why are you in Marineford now? Why? These pirates were instantly confused. Not only were they confused, but all the reporters present were also dumbfounded. They didn't expect that there were so many world government troops here. Big news is coming. Their keen sense of news tells them that big news is about to happen soon. 4.1 It seems they came here at the right time. And then right now, all the men in black stopped. Standing in a row. Blocking the way. Immediately afterwards, 5 figures quickly appeared on Marineford's command platform. None other than 5 elders. No one expected that the 5 of them would suddenly appear. The expressions of all the pirates suddenly change. 237. Is there anyone who doesn't know that Ron and I am are siblings? Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. No one expected that someone from the world government would appear at Marine base. I didn't expect even the 5 elders to be here. Isn't this nonsense? All the pirates were stunned when they saw the 5 of them appearing. What happened? Why are these 5 old guys here? Why? The leading pirates looked at each other. I have absolutely no idea what is happening now. Doesn't it mean that there is no one at Marine headquarters? The information is unmistakable, because they have received reliable information. Marines have been seen leaving the headquarters in large numbers. 15. Advertisement, and there is absolutely no possibility of turning back. Because they had received reliable information just a few minutes ago. It is said that Marine annihilated the buggy pirates in an extremely remote place. And Marine is extremely large. According to reliable sources, all Marine units were indeed dispatched. That is to say, now all the Marine troops are already on the sea, not knowing what they are doing. There can't be anyone else at the headquarters, but no one thought of it. It is true that there is no Marine in the headquarters, but there are people from world government. What exactly is going on? No, if the 5 elders are here, then there will be no one in Marijoy. We might as well attack Marijoy. I said you are mentally ill. Are you crazy? You can't get on the red line alone, and you still want to go through the beauty that Marijoy wants. We should think about how to get out of here now. The 5 elders plus the world government are not something we can deal with. These pirates have retreated after seeing this lineup. After all, they just planned to come here while Marine was away, and then attack Marine's headquarters to take the opportunity to become famous. Advertisement. If they were really asked to work hard, they wouldn't dare. After all, almost all pirates with skills in the entire sea have been wiped out by Marine. The rest are just some shrimp soldiers and crab generals. And these reporters, it was all excitement at the moment. They all picked up their cameras and took pictures of the 5 elders. The development of this matter has exceeded their expectations. They had a premonition that today's headlines would be controlled by them. The 5 elders appeared at the Marine headquarters, and all the Marine headquarters were replaced by people from the world government. This is big news. At the same time, the live broadcast has spread to all over the world. Everyone saw this scene. At first, everyone looked surprised. Because this really exceeded everyone's expectations. What happened? Why did people from the 5 elders and world government show up at Marine headquarters? Yes, is it possible that they are here to look after the Marine headquarters? Advertisement. How is this possible? Are you crazy? Don't forget that world government is the leader of Marine. How could they come to visit Marine just for the sake of Marine? You are right. Then why do they appear here? Wait a minute, haven't you heard that rumor? 207? What rumor? It is said that the current bald Inspector General of Marine and I am Sama, the highest authority in the world government, are siblings. As soon as this statement came out, everyone was instantly shocked. If this news is true, it would make sense why the world government would send troops to help the Marine headquarters defend the base. But no one thought of it. It turns out that the bald Inspector General has such a deep background. And right now, I saw the 5 old stars on the screen, standing upright on the podium. He just looked at the many pirates below coldly. Then he waved his hand and said, "Don't let them get away." Superior. 238. The reason why the 5 elders are here. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. Here the 5 elders give orders. These pirates were instantly panicked. They all started to run away. After all, they don't have the strength and courage to go against the 5 elders. All the pirates swarmed forward. But where are their strengths compared to the world government army's opponents? Plus 5 elders is on the rage at this time. It is even more impossible to let them go. After all, these 5 old guys don't want to go back and be scolded by IM again. 5 elders, fat, frowned and shouted. Arrest them all, and don't let any of them go. If there are any who escape, kill them on the spot. Don't leave any alive. With the approval of 5 elders, these world government escorts are even more desperate when fighting. Suddenly the entire battlefield fell into fighting. Seeing that they could not escape, these pirates had no choice but to rise up and resist. Advertisement hoped to find a way out, but with their strength. Basically, it's a flash sale. The entire battlefield was almost one-sided. These pirates originally wanted to take this opportunity to regain their reputation as pirates. But who would have thought? But it was counterproductive. Not only did it not become famous as a pirate, but it also became famous as a world government. Watching these pirates being defeated easily, the newly raised hopes of those who wanted to go to sea were all extinguished. It seems that there is really no hope for the pirates. The fighter has been going on for half an hour. All 20,000 pirates have been captured. This shocked everyone who watched this scene. Let these pirates be ignorant and want to revive. Let's see if they dare to do it now. That's right. The world government has done a great job. They should kill all these pirates. As for the reporters who were watching, they were all taking pictures crazily for this historic moment. With their keen sense of smell, they noticed it immediately. Advertisement. I'm afraid after today, No more pirates would dare to make trouble. This incident almost killed all the pirates and defeated the last trace of their prestige. The impact is no less than that of Summit War. If Summit War solves the arrogant arrogance of the big pirates. So the little pirates are just lucky that this battle will be solved. All the pirates I saw were caught. Only then did the 5 elders come down from the podium. I saw the 5 of them looking around at the pirates below with cold eyes. The leader of the 5 elders, Sword, frowned and said in a cold tone. Who gave you the courage to attack Marine Base? The world is really mad at these 5 old guys. They thought this time it was just a formality. So I didn't take any precautions. After all, who would be so bold as to attack the Marine headquarters at this time? Although nominally they were here to help Ron see the scene. But I don't think there will be any real danger here. But this time, advertisement he was actually attacked by pirates. As a result, several of them were severely punished by Master IM. If you don't take this tone, these 5 old guys probably won't be able to sleep tonight. These pirates knew that there was no way to escape. Looking at the cold eyes of the 5 elders, I finally couldn't help but ask. Why are you world government people here, faced with these pirates' questions? 5 elders frowned and said coldly. Hello, King Qian, HMPH, Mr. Ron asked Mr. IM to come here to help look after the Marine headquarters. You few short-sighted guys chose to come here at this time. You are really looking for death. Case solved. Everyone who heard this sentence was shocked. Shocking. It was the bald Inspector General who invited IM here. There is such a big loss of face. Even the supreme leader of the world government can be invited here. These pirates were all in agony. My luck is really bad. Who could have thought of this? 239. Ron is a hunk from heaven. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement, Lord IM is actually here? The news was like a bolt from the blue. In an instant, all the reporters present widened their eyes. To know, that adult, but never left Marijoy. Didn't expect it this time. He actually left Marijoy and came to Marineford because of one person's instructions. Just to temporarily help look after this place. All reporters sensed an unusual relationship. It turns out that this bald Inspector General has such a deep relationship with Lord IM. We can invite the highest authority in the world government to come over and help look after the house. This is simply an incredible thing. What kind of relationship does it take to achieve this? Everyone had incredible expressions. Speculations began one after another. Advertisement. Some reporters even asked questions on the spot. Master 5 Elders, what is the relationship between Master IM and Master Ron? This question also asked the voices of all reporters present. It also represents all the off-site personnel who are paying attention to this incident. They were also extremely curious. Is that rumor true? Are IM and Ron really siblings? It's just a legend after all. Nothing, BFBI, has been confirmed yet, but judging from today's incident, it is very possible that this is the relationship. If not, how could the supreme leader of the world government condescend to come to Marineford from Marijoy to help look after the house just because of one person's request? You must know that the identities of the two are very different. Even if the bald Inspector General had more face, he wouldn't be able to do this. Hear this reporter's question. The 5 elders frowned. Anyway, this matter is not a big secret now. Advertisement. It's not something that cannot be made public. That's why he said calmly. Master Ron is Master Im's biological brother. As soon as this statement came out, suddenly the whole place was in an uproar. It was like a bolt from the blue. This rumor has finally been officially confirmed. All the reporters started taking photos frantically to record this epic moment. Regarding this bald Inspector General who suddenly emerged, everyone has a lot of speculation. After all, Ron has changed the entire Marine since he became Inspector General. For those who long for peace, Ron is a huge hunk. A man who saved them from fire and water. There are naturally a lot of speculations about such a man. For his origin, for his life experience, various versions were circulated. I have also speculated about the relationship between him and IM. Advertisement, but it's just conjecture. After all, there is no evidence. Even before, many people used internal relations to inquire about it, but no specific information was obtained. Ron's life experience has always been a topic of discussion among everyone after dinner. But this moment, Ron's identity has been determined. I didn't expect that the most outrageous guess before turned out to be the most true. Ron and Im's relationship turned out to be that of siblings. Turns out Ron is also a celestial dragon, and he is from the same lineage as the highest authority of the celestial dragons. This news, all the reporters present were so excited that they picked up the phone one after another. Start calling their newspapers. This front page news must be announced as soon as possible. It's really big news. No one expected that this time they would be invited by these pirates to help them show off their power. I thought it was a very boring job, but we got such important news. 240. Who would have thought that Ron would have such a relationship? Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. When all the captured pirates in the audience heard this, they couldn't describe their feelings at all. This was a bolt from the blue. At this moment they finally knew. Why can Marine leave Marine headquarters without restraint? It turns out that they can invite people from world government to help them guard the Marine headquarters. Who in the right mind would have thought of this? These pirates never imagined that Marine would be so prestigious that he could invite people from the world government. Just a few minutes ago, they had not figured out how Marine invited them here. It wasn't until Wu Laoxing made it clear just now. They finally found out. It turns out that it was the bald inspector general who did it. This guy is so proud, it's really incredible. Advertisement. It turns out that he is Im's brother. No wonder the world government escort team can be invited here from Marijoy. Even the 5 old stars all came. And Lord Im's true self is here. This kind of battle is really too scary, never expected it. They actually failed at this. Now all the pirates were disheartened. How's it going? Now you're convinced, 5 elders said calmly. Even if it means death, the other party must understand clearly. All these pirates were dejected and silent. Take them all away, 5 elders said coldly. These pirates are just petty thieves. In fact, there is no arresting value. But now they have really angered themselves and others. If they are not captured, there will be no calendar to explain to Lord Im. Advertisement. That's it. This farce has finally come to an end. The 5 elders returned to headquarters. Now, facing Im, the 5 old guys were still a little frightened. Sir Im, these children have all been arrested and brought to justice. They have not caused any harm to the entire Marin Fanduo. I guarantee that there will be no difference between this place and before. 5 elders said quickly. Im responded without looking back. Okay, you guys can go down. I won't allow this kind of thing to happen again. Although Im's tone did not fluctuate at all, but when everyone heard it, they felt like a thorn in the back. The 5 old guys quickly agreed and left, the first time it comes out. The 5 of them immediately ordered all the escort teams to conduct a survey around the entire sea area. To prevent this from happening again, all possible signs must be nipped in. The 5 elders ordered all world government escorts to deal with any pirate ships or pirates found around them on the spot. Advertisement. They don't want this to happen again. If not, the consequences could be disastrous. In the first moments of the 5 elders' order, everyone dispersed in a rush, spread out to the surrounding sea area. There are only a few reporters left in the entire square. The 5 elders didn't bother to pay attention to them. Only one day has passed. All the seagulls began to deliver newspapers to all parts of the world. No matter which newspaper it is. The front page headlines at the moment are all about Ron's life experience. The information these reporters received from Marineford was immediately edited into copy and sent to all parts of the world. Although most people have already passed the previous live broadcast. But today's newspapers, still a hot seller. Let everyone rush to buy it. 241. Ron Fleet lost contact. Previous chapter next chapter. Advertisement. News of Ron's identity suddenly spread around the world. No matter how remote the place, all received newspapers at this moment. Look at the introduction above. Everyone looked confused. Never expected it. This bald inspector general is the biggest person with connections. This identity is simply terrifying, but after knowing his identity, everyone's thoughts change. I am even more grateful to Ron. It's a celestial dragons after all. There is no need to do these things for them. How wonderful it would be to be a celestial dragons with good clothes, food, and mouth to enjoy life. But he did not hesitate to put in so much effort in order to make the entire sea peaceful. And this Inspector General Ron isn't as hateful as the other celestial dragons. Suddenly, everyone's love for Ron has reached a new level. Ron is now thousands of miles away. Of course, I don't know how the world has changed. Little did he know that his life experience would spread throughout the world in an instant. Little did he know that the whole world was discussing his story. Because they are now only one step away from the final island. No one else can come here at all. Not even seagulls can fly over. So they haven't received the latest newspapers or the latest news happening in the world at all. And communication has been lost here. Now Ron's fleet, already, completely lost contact with the outside world. No phone calls can be made, and no external calls can come in. Even if the Marine headquarters wanted to contact Ron at this moment, they could no longer contact him. Advertisements such as the terror of the magnetic field surrounding the final island. Precisely because of this, at the moment at Marine headquarters. He couldn't help but frown. She was. Are you going to ask Ron where they are? Just in time to tell Ron about the attack on the Marine headquarters. But I never expected it. Suddenly, I lost contact with Ron, and there was no way I could get through the phone no matter what. This made Im start to worry, started pacing back and forth anxiously. Normally she doesn't take anything to heart, but when it comes to Ron, will disturb her thoughts. At this time, 5 elders walked in. They saw Lord looking anxious here. I couldn't help but be a little curious. Did something big happen again? No, there are no pirates around anymore. Advertisement. After the previous lessons, they have sent out many warships and began to eliminate the surrounding pirates. Don't let anyone unknown come near here. So what exactly is Sama worried about? The 5 elders looked at each other, then stepped forward. Asked cautiously, Lord is there anything we need to do? Frowned and said slightly anxiously, contact me, the guards who were sent out to follow Ron, and ask Ron where they are in 4.3. After all, I am worried about Ron going to find the final island by himself. So when Ron left here with Marine, MT sent 2 submarines to follow Ron quietly. Just to know the movements of Ron and others at any time. This way I can feel more at ease. Now he couldn't reach Ron. So at this time, I thought of the guards following me at the police station. 242. Was anxious and tried his best to find Ron. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. I heard Master saying this. The 5 elders looked at each other, feeling a little weird. The sea is so safe now. What's more, Master Ron is so powerful. And it also took away all of Marine's combat power. It can be said that they are invincible in this sea. No matter where they go, there is no opponent. So how is it possible to lose contact? Logically speaking, this is impossible. So, when these 5 old guys just heard the news, they all looked confused. He even forgot to reply. Was already in a hurry, but he saw the 5 of them standing still here. 15 immediately became furious. Advertisement. Are you 5 just made of wood? What are you doing here? Didn't you hear what I just said? Shouted angrily, like a bolt from the blue. Instantly, several other people broke out in cold sweat. These 5 old guys were shocked, backing away continuously. Yes, I'll do it right away. Then they hurried out and immediately called the 2 submarines that followed Ron out. What makes them feel incredible is that the submarine's phone also couldn't be reached. What exactly is going on? At this moment, 5 elders had no idea. It would be understandable if something happened to Ron and others with their fleet. After all, they were walking on the sea. Advertisement. If you encounter any danger, you will definitely be the first to rush ahead. But these 2 fleets are moving forward on the bottom of the sea. Moreover, the main mission of these 2 fleets is to follow Ron's fleet from a distance without taking action. No need to take action no matter what problems you encounter. All you need to do is send back the information you encounter as soon as possible. This is their main mission, so they will hardly encounter any danger. There is no chance of losing contact, precisely because of this. Not being able to contact them made 5 elders feel that something was not simple. What exactly is going on? Why can't I contact you? The 5 elders looked at each other. This is really strange. If we really encounter any danger, then the relevant personnel of these 2 ships will definitely report to us as soon as possible. It is impossible that there will be no news at 10 o'clock. Advertisement. Yes, their main task is to report to us immediately when encountering a situation. Why can't they even get through the phone at this time? This shouldn't be the case. In order to prevent them from losing contact, they were specially installed with a newly developed telephone from Peppermint Punk. No matter how deep the seabed is, they will not lose contact. So what is going on in this situation? When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. Even the 5 elders felt something was wrong. Ron and others went to find the final island, and took away all of Marine's battle history. If something happened to them in 993, it would mean that Marine would collapse overnight. No one wanted such a powerful Marine to disappear so suddenly. It would be such an injustice if Marine was not destroyed by the enemy, but disappeared because of this situation. Everyone became nervous. 5 elders immediately issued an order. Immediately report the last positions of the 2 submarines. Send a warship over to see what happened. This is responsible for following Ron's 2 submarines and sending position reports every hour. So just find where the last location report was sent. Then go and investigate, and you should be able to find out what happened. 243. Ron disappeared just an hour ago. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement order of the 5 elders. It is of course very fast to execute. His men immediately sent over all the material report information of the 2 submarines. From departure to an hour ago, basically all the locations have been transmitted without any errors. Only the last 2 accidents happened. No information came through. This also explains. Ron and others lost contact within this hour. 5 elders immediately brought the map. Start seeing where the most recent occurrences are. When the location and map were put together, the 5 old guys looked confused. This is where? It's like I've never been to this place before. Advertisement. The 5 old guys all began to study attentively. Does it mean they found Raftel? It can't be so fast. They have only been sailing for a few days. Forget it. The top priority now is to go to this place and take a look, maybe there will be some clues. You were right. Immediately check where the nearest world government organization is and ask them to send a large number of people there immediately to check what happened. Affection. The location marked on the map is at least a week away from the Marine headquarters. Therefore, if we send a warship to check it out now, it will actually be too late. Because it takes 7 days to get there, by then everything will be too late. So the wisest decision now is to immediately find the nearest warship there and let them check it out. After all, world government organizations are located all over the world. There are temporary stations in every country, and this time, it takes nearly 3 days to travel from the nearest world government garrison to the location marked on the map. How come it's so far? Advertisement, are there no other world government troops around? 5 elders said angrily. After all, they couldn't afford to wait for 3 days. If IM was asked to wait for 3 days, IM would probably kill them. But now there is no other way. Let them search first, and then we will think of other ways. In order not to waste time, this is all 5 elders can do now. Then, on an island at the end of the Grand Line, a world government warship received temporary orders. Start heading towards the indicated place at full speed. And at the same time, the 5 elders could only report the situation truthfully to IM. I saw them returning to the conference room again. Looking at IM's serious eyes. Advertisement. The 5 old guys couldn't help but shudder. How's it going? How's the check going? IM asked. Although there was no anger in his tone, but it still makes people feel like they are breaking out in a cold sweat. The 5 old guys said tremblingly. Lord IM, we have indeed lost contact, and what happened in the last hour? According to Zhao, we have now sent the nearest army to investigate. IM frowned and said, stop talking nonsense and just tell me how long it will take to get the results. 5 elders heard this. It shrank instantly. They really didn't have the courage to say that they wouldn't be able to go out for another 3 days. Their intuition told them that if they spoke out, IM would definitely be exposed. But they dare not lie. If you lie, the consequences will be more serious. 244. IM decided to go to Raftel in person to find Ron. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The 5 old guys didn't know what to make for a while. They looked at each other. They didn't dare to stand up and speak first. In the end, 5 elders, Fat, could only grit his teeth and stand up. Because he found that if he didn't stand up and speak again, he would be in trouble. I am probably going to kill all 5 of them on the spot. It was visible to the naked eye that Im's face was getting worse and worse. He must not lie anymore at this time. So 5 elders said, Lord IM, it will take 3 days at the earliest to know what happened. This is already the fastest speed. The 2 vestibules sent to follow Mr. Ron also lost contact. The distance they last reported was too far away. If you want to go over and check, the nearest troops must also 3 days, 280. The 5 elders said it carefully. Always observe Im's expression. When he finished saying this, advertisement, it was just as he expected. I am immediately furious. He asked, 3 days? Are you kidding me? What else can you find after 3 days? A bunch of trash. If nothing can be done, what use do I need from you? Faced with Im's anger, 5 elders don't even dare to fart. I can only lower my head. Prepare the warship, go to the undersea prison, and bring this guy Golden Lion out to me. I am also knows that there is no use in continuing to train these 5 guys here. It will only be a waste of time for no reason. So he immediately decided. The 5 elders were all confused when they heard this decision. Lord I am, what is this for? I am said coldly. Advertisement, since Ron disappeared in that place, it is enough to prove that they have found the final island of Raftel. When the 5 elders heard this, they turned pale with shock. Sir I am, you mean that the location marked on this map is Raftel where One Piece is located? This is simply shocking news. I am nodded, yes, it must be there. At this moment, the 5 elders finally understood what I am meant. Lord I am is planning to go there in person. Just rely on the speed of the warship. It will take at least a week to get there. Obviously I am, BFBI, doesn't have the patience to wait for that long. So he thought of using the Golden Lion's ability to fly directly from the air, which would save at least half the time. If it goes faster, it can arrive within 2 days. This is definitely faster than sending someone over to check. This decision immediately impressed the 5 elders. Lord I am is indeed Lord I am. Advertisement, he always comes up with such wonderful ideas. So the 5 of them turned around and decided to do it immediately. Compared to Sir Ron's safety issues, at this moment, the safety of Marine headquarters is no longer of concern. There is no need to stay here any longer. The top priority now is to immediately check what happened to Lord Ron. And judging from the current situation, no one should have the courage to attack the Marine headquarters again. Just now we are facing a problem. 5 elders suddenly thought of a very important question. That is Golden Lion in the underwater prison at this moment? Because according to Ron's character, It is also unknown whether Golden Lion will be spared his life. It's very possible that Ron has killed this guy. If that's really the case, then lion fruit will disappear again. It is impossible to find the lion fruit in a short time, so if the Golden Lion really lets Ron kill it, then they will have no way to use the lion fruit ability to fly over. 245. The confused Magellan, the 5 elders were scolded again. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. So the top priority now is to go to the underwater prison and see if the Golden Lion is inside. If it's inside, then it's best to bring him over quickly. Only in this way can he immediately use his ability to go to the place where Ron disappeared before. If the Golden Lion is not inside, that would be bad. It's possible that Ron has already killed the Golden Lion. In this case, lion fruit's whereabouts will be unknown. Without this fruit, it is basically impossible to travel such a long distance in a short time. Because the speed of a ship sailing on the sea is definitely not as fast as flying in the air. So, immediately give the order now. Have the 5 elders contact Medron in the undersea prison immediately. Check it out quickly. Is the Golden Lion being imprisoned there? Advertisement. The 5 elders also know the seriousness of the matter. So I didn't dare to neglect. After exiting immediately, I quickly contacted Magellan, the warden of the underwater prison. Magellan is also confused now. He was staying in the underwater prison when suddenly he received a call from 5 elders. Hey, this is Magellan. Magellan introduced himself as a routine. The 5 elders were obviously in a hurry and didn't show too much politeness. Said immediately. Okay, now I ask you to do something. Check immediately to see if Golden Lion is being held at your place. Magellan was even more confused. He had never heard the 5 elders sound so anxious. In the end, what happened? But he didn't dare to neglect. He knew this without investigating. After all, he was the warden of the underwater prison, and he knew everything about everyone imprisoned here. So he answered immediately. Actually, he has died a long time ago, so he cannot be detained here. Hear this. Advertisement. The 5 elders were immediately disheartened. Unexpectedly, the worst situation still happened. I asked still somewhat unwillingly, how did he die? Although Magellan didn't know why the other party asked, he still answered. Killed on the order of Inspector General Ron. 5 elders hung up the phone. Obviously, according to the current situation, this road is no longer feasible. The 5 of them were tremblingly preparing to go back and resume their lives. It seems that he will inevitably be scolded by Master IM again. I don't know what Sir Ron is thinking. Why did you say you killed him when you had nothing to do? The 5 elders returned to IM and told the whole story. As expected, immediately became furious and scolded the 5 old men again. Advertisement. But in other words, these 5 old guys were actually a little unjust. This is obviously the Golden Lion your brother killed. It's not like we killed him. Why are you still scolding us? But they didn't dare to say anything. I am also lost in thought now. He was worried about the safety of Ron and others. But now there is no way to go as quickly as possible to see what happened. This is very disturbing. I can only worry here. But at this time, I am suddenly wanted to understand a question. According to Ron's character, he would not kill someone without any purpose. Reminiscent of the fact that he recruited Blackbeard to Marine headquarters before. Suddenly an idea struck me. The reason why Ron killed the Golden Lion must be to take out the lion fruit from his body. That is to say, lion fruit is probably keeping his soldiers at the Marine headquarters now. 246. Stacks of devil fruit. Previous chapter next chapter. Advertisement. I am suddenly thought of this level. Suddenly I felt like there was hope again. If Ron really killed the Golden Lion for this reason, then lion fruit must still be stored somewhere in the Marine headquarters. Because judging from the current situation, Marine has not yet given birth to a lion fruit user. That is to say, this fruit has not been eaten by any Marine yet. There is hope now. 043 inches. The 5 elders immediately softened when they saw Im's face. Suddenly I felt a little incredible. Think carefully for a moment. Then they looked at each other and then asked cautiously. Lord IM, have you discovered anything? IM turned around. Advertisement. He said calmly. Inquire immediately where Marine stores devil fruit. Since the Golden Lion has been killed by Ron, he must have used Blackbeard to extract the lion fruit. You guys go look for it. I heard Lord Im's personal instructions. The 5 elders nodded immediately. Then he started searching at the Marine headquarters without looking back. Have to admit, the 5 of them also felt that Im's conjecture was very reasonable. This fits Sir Ron's character very well. After some searching, the 5 elders finally found out where Marine kept the devil fruit. This is actually Marine's secret. It's impossible to find out. But it just so happened that these 5 old guys were lucky. Advertisement clues were found in Ron's office, so the 5 old guys came to the 3rd underground floor. This is the Marine top secret warehouse where devil fruit is stored. After all, devil fruit is a rare treasure in the world of One Piece. Even the warehouse where Marine stores devil fruit is extremely hidden. No normal person would have imagined that he was actually on the third floor underground. The 5 elders finally reached the third underground floor and opened the door of the warehouse where devil fruit is stored. The 5 of them were completely unprepared mentally. With their imagination, they can't imagine what is behind the door. They thought they were storing just a few devil fruit at most. But when the door opened, everyone was stunned, extremely shocked. Where are some devil fruits? I saw the devil fruit in front of me piled up directly into a hill. Thousands of devil fruit are piled here haphazardly. Advertisement: you must know that any devil fruit inside is very popular in the outside world. But here they are just piled randomly on the ground. When the 5 elders saw this scene, they were all shocked and stunned. The 5 of them are well-informed people, but even so, this was the first time I saw this scene. This is really shocking. How could there be so many? Where did it come from? So much devil fruit. The 5 of them have lived for such a long time and have never seen so many patterns. Where did this guy Ron come from? This is too terrible. The 5 old guys looked at each other, and they all saw shocked expressions in each other's 3.8 eyes. Too many. I have never seen so many devil fruits before. Marine is so extravagant, he just put these devil fruits here randomly. No wonder Ron wants to leave Blackbeard in Marine. It seems that he used Blackbeard's ability to extract these. Forget it, don't worry about it now, let's go find Lion Fruit first. I hope he is here. 247. The actual person in charge of Marine is Ron. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Although the 5 elders were already shocked by the scene in front of them. But they now understand that the priority is not to waste time here. The fluttering fruit of the Golden Lion must be found as soon as possible. Otherwise, will definitely not be able to spare them. So the 5 old guys no longer care about their image. Immediately pounce into the pile of devil fruit and start searching. After all, there are too many devil fruits in front of us. And Ron is too lazy. There are no categories for these devil fruits at all. Even the simplest categories between Paramecia 15, Logia and Zone are not divided. Just pile all the devil fruit here. Advertisement. So it is really difficult to find the lion fruit of Golden Lion among so many devil fruits. Fortunately, these 5 old men have read the devil fruit illustrated book. So it's pretty clear what lion fruit looks like. If not, but it's really miserable. I saw that these 5 guys had quick eyesight and quick hands. Pick up the devil fruit one by one. When you find it's not a lion fruit, throw it behind you. Then start looking. Have to say, in the process of searching, 5 elders was shocked over and over again, because they found several valuable devil fruits. There are even ancient species and phantom beast species. Advertisement: have to say, if it were normal times, the 5 of them would have been so excited that they could not speak. After all, if these devil fruits are taken by one's subordinates, their strength will definitely be greatly enhanced. It is simply a good thing that cannot be bought with a lot of money. But time is urgent now. They didn't dare to delay too much. So there is no time to be surprised here. Do you think we can take away some of these promising fruits? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Anyway, there are so many devil fruits here, so we shouldn't be discovered if we take a few away. Even the well-informed 5 elders had some twisted thoughts at this moment. After all, they also want to take back these rare devil fruits, for their right-hand man to eat. But there are still the relatively leisurely 5 elders. I saw him speaking lightly. What are you thinking? Don't forget, these are Marine's devil fruit. To be precise, they are Lord Ron's devil fruit. Advertisement. You even dare to fight Master Ron's devil fruit idea. I think you are impatient. If you want to die, don't take us with you. 5 elders, fat, was scolded for no reason. Then he snorted coldly. You really think I'm stupid? I'm just joking. If Sengoku has the final say on Marine now, then we can take away a few 427 devil fruits and we won't dare to say anything about the results. But now it's obvious that Sengoku's prestige in Marine headquarters is not as high as Ron's, and Ron is the actual controller of Marine. So only people with sick minds would think of these devil fruits at this time. The 5 old guys joked with each other, then he continued to work on finding devil fruit. I have to say that this job is really tiring. They originally planned to ask other subordinates to help them search together. But think about it carefully, this is Marine's secret warehouse after all. If more people knew about it, it would obviously be detrimental to Marine. So I had to do it myself. 248. Find the wind and wind fruit. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. However, it is really difficult to find the Piao Piao fruit among so many magic fruit stones. 5 elders has been looking for it for a long time. Damn it. How long will it take to find this? Who would have thought that Sir Ron has so many devil fruits? 5 elders is really tired of looking for it. Okay, now is not the time to complain about this. If we don't find it, we will definitely be scolded by Lord I Am when we go back. Hurry up and take action, don't say it's useless here. 5 old guys complaining to each other, but there is no other way but to speed up the movements of the hands. After searching for a long time, have you found the whereabouts of lion fruit? He looked at the already screened devil fruit behind him. The 5 elders fell into deep thought. This is not good news. If the whereabouts of devil fruit are not found here, advertisement, that means this fruit is not at Marine headquarters at all. They knew very well how much Lord I Am wanted to get this fruit. What should we do? How should we go back and report back to Lord I Am? Yeah, this is a headache. The 5 old guys knew that they would inevitably be scolded when they returned. So now I am very confused, but they have no other options. So I had no choice but to bite the bullet and go back. Back to Ron's office. I found I Am sitting there with a frown on my face. 5 elders said cautiously, Lord I Am, there was no lion fruit found in Marine's devil fruit collection room. It's possible that Lord Ron didn't put the fruit there. In other words, Master Ron has given this fruit to his subordinates to eat. I Am seemed to have expected this. No words were spoken. The air suddenly became very quiet. Advertisement. The more this happens, the more the 5 elders feel that something is wrong, and the more scared they become. Look at each other. Then he said cautiously, Lord I Am? After a while, I Am replied calmly. In this case, it seems there is no way to get there in a short time. I Am can't think of anything other than lion fruit now. Is there any other way for them to reach the place where Ron disappeared as quickly as possible? At this time, 5 elders suddenly thought of something. Then said, Lord I Am, although we didn't find the lion fruit, we found Dorag's wind fruit there. If you use it, you can also speed up the ship's sailing speed, although it won't be as fast as the cooperation fruit. Heard the 5 elders say that. I Am suddenly laughed. Advertisement, not bad. Then what are the 5 of you doing standing here? Hurry up and get me the fung fung fruit. Yes. The 5 elders took the order and returned to Marine's warehouse again. Then they brought out the fung fung fruit they had discovered before. Returned to the office 10 minutes later, he handed it over to Master I Am with his own hands. I Am looked at this devil, good for money, fruit, and she recognized it. It was indeed Dorag's wind and wind fruit. Then he stuffed it directly into his mouth without hesitation. This shocked the 5 elders. He quickly stepped forward to stop him, but it was already too late. Lord I Am. Pull out. Remember that each person can only eat 1 devil fruit. Eat 2 and your body will explode, and they knew that I Am was a capable person. So if you eat another devil fruit at this time, we'll die. 249. I Am can also eat 2 devil fruits. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. No one expected that Master Yimu would eat the fung fung fruit directly. For a person with abilities, if he eats another devil fruit, the consequences will be disastrous. So the 5 elders are very anxious. Of course they understood that I Am was very worried about Ron's safety. But, this is too anxious. It's impossible that I Am-sama doesn't know that you can't eat 2 devil fruits at the same time. Why do you still do this? This will kill you. But the 5 of them were unable to stop it, and I Am had already eaten the wind fruit. It's too late now. The 5 elders looked at Lord I Am dumbfounded. Murmured, Lord I Am, but what surprised them was, I Am did not die after eating fung fung fruit 077. There were no signs of discomfort. Instead, he looked like nothing was wrong. Advertisement. Not only that, only the shadow of the wind appeared faintly around him. The flow speed of the surrounding air has also accelerated a lot. The 5 elders were stunned and felt the breeze blowing through their bodies. He opened his mouth in surprise. What is the power of the wind and wind fruit? Lord I Am has mastered the power of fung fung fruit. How is this possible? Lord I Am is obviously an ability user. Why did he acquire another ability? This really makes BFAG Star puzzled. Why can Master I Am eat 2 devil fruits at the same time and have 2 abilities? But Lord I Am is not dead, which is lucky, but it still makes 5 elders feel a little incredible. I saw them take a deep breath and then say, Master I Am, are you okay? I Am suddenly held up his hands. In an instant, there was an extremely powerful wind. Swept across in an instant. Advertisement. It blew everyone directly into the air. After a while, he slowly landed. 5 elders is very confirmed this time. As expected, Lord I Am has mastered the power of the wind and wind fruit. This is really incredible. How on earth is it done? I Am looked at the strong wind around him with great satisfaction. If this wind is used to accelerate the ship, presumably it should not take more than 3 days to reach the destination. Moreover, his ability can blow the wind fruit at full speed. In this case, it's possible to get there in 2 days. When I think of this, I Am couldn't wait any longer. Although in the eyes of outsiders she is an extremely calm emperor. But, she would become very anxious when it came to Ron. So at this moment, he decided not to stay here anymore, and immediately went to the place where Ron disappeared to find out what happened. Advertisement, prepare the ship. Set off. Im's majestic voice came out. The 5 elders could only follow Im with questions in their hearts. The warship was soon ready. Im didn't take many people with me. After all, the more people on the boat, the sinker the boat will be, and the slower it will go. So she basically only brought the 5 elders and some simple necessary personnel. After everyone boarded the ship, Im directly used the ability of the wind and wind fruit. In an instant, there was a strong wind in the entire port. It almost capsized the warship. It can be seen how anxious Im is. Subsequently, the warship was under this strong wind. Running madly forward. Extremely fast, have to say. This devil fruit is still very strong. 250. Arrive at the place where Ron disappeared. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement because we already knew the location where Ron and others disappeared in advance. So now you just need to sail to that position at full speed. There is no danger in this sea now, and they are driving warships so they can move unimpeded. Have to say. High speed. The 5 elders looked at the strong wind coming from behind in surprise. I couldn't help but be amazed, as expected of Lord Im. As long as it was anyone who had just eaten devil fruit, it would be impossible for him to exert the power of devil fruit so quickly. But Lord Im can indeed do it. What a terrifying talent. So amazing. At this moment, the strong wind behind him was sweeping huge waves, continuously pushing the warship forward and running wildly. The speed of the warship at this moment is really unparalleled. Advertisement. It just so happened that there were many other ships passing by. At this time other ships looked at such a fast warship. Everyone couldn't help but take a breath. They had never seen a warship sailing so fast. How is this done? It's really shocking. He walked right through them in a flash. Soon it disappeared from the end of the field of vision. Only the stern can be seen, and that huge wave. Whose warship is this? It looks so handsome. Look at the huge waves pushing the warship around at high speeds. I don't know, this is too exaggerated. The people around who saw this scene started talking one after another. On the warship now, Im stood on the bow of the boat with his hands behind his back. For him, it is actually easy to control the ability of Fung Fung fruit. After all, with her talent, if you want to get familiar with a devil fruit as quickly as possible and develop it completely, it actually won't take long. Advertisement. So, this is not difficult for her. But 5 elders really rocks. To be honest, the 5 old men have never seen Im take action. I don't know what level her strength is, but judging from the current situation, it should be very scary, just because she was able to master the ability so quickly after just eating the devil fruit. That's enough to judge. 2 days and 2 nights passed quickly. Im stood on the bow of the boat. He had not moved for 2 days and 2 nights and was moving at full speed without eating or drinking. This shows how important Ron is in her heart. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In order to find out Ron's safety as soon as possible, Im has tried his best. The 5 elders all had dark circles under their eyes. Have to say, the 5 old men are very hungry and sleepy now. But they didn't dare to go back to rest without permission. After all, Lord Im is still standing here. Advertisement. If they are not here to accompany you. .00 that doesn't make sense. So these 2 days and nights they stood behind Im. Despite being so hungry that my eyesight is dim, I didn't dare to talk much. Finally at noon on the 3rd day, the warship arrived at the location where Ron disappeared. Im stopped the warship. Look around for 4 weeks. He couldn't help but frowned. Is this the place where Ron disappeared? Hearing Im asking this, the 5 elders came back from their trance. Then he said slowly, "That's right, Lord Im, this is it. The last time I received information, I received it here." After the 5 elders confirmed the place, they nodded repeatedly. But there doesn't seem to be anything different around here. It made them doubtful. 251. There are no traces of battle. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. The 5 elders also felt that something was wrong. Because nothing unusual was found around. If Ron's people really disappeared here, it's impossible that nothing can be seen here. After all, Ron leads nearly 100 warships and more than 300,000 marine troops. Such a large fighting group. If there is any attack here, there will be no traces of any meaningful battle. September 17th. Is what I said. What is going on? Is this not the place where they disappeared? Lord Im, the last notification I received from them was here. It was the position report sent back by the 2 submarines responsible for following. 5 elders immediately reported. Im nodded. Then he pointed at the bottom of the sea and said, "Advertisement, you 2 get down. Let's see if the 2 submarines are still on the bottom of the sea. Have they encountered any trouble? If the 2 submarines disappeared after reporting their positions, it was probably sunk at the bottom of the sea, if it is like this. So the wrecks of these 2 submarines should still be here. After all, Im had already eaten the devil fruit, so he couldn't swim. Besides, with her status, she doesn't have to check it out in person. So I just pointed out 2 old stars and asked them to go into the water to check it out. These 2 five elders happen to not eat devil fruit. At this moment, he dived directly into the water without hesitation. If they were asked to do this by ordinary people, I guess the 5 elders would have thrown this man into the sea to feed the fishes. After all, what are the identities of the 5 of them? That's the official of Marine. Who can make them jump into the sea on their own initiative? Advertisement, but this time, it was I am who ordered them. No one dares to disobey. So the 5 elders had no choice but to jump off the ship obediently. Plop. Then there was another plop. The 2 5-year-old stars plunged directly into the sea. I searched throughout the sea for a long time, however, no traces of submarines were found on the seabed. Not only the submarine, but also the wreckage of other ships was not found. This is actually a rare phenomenon. After all, although the sea is said to be very big, sunken ships can be found almost everywhere. After all, countless ships have sunk on the sea over the years. But at this moment, the bottom is clean and there are no sunken ships. This can only explain one phenomenon. That is, there are no ships passing by here at all. Advertisement, in other words, no ship has passed here for hundreds of years, or very few ships have passed here. After the 2 5 elders completed their exploration, they swam back to the surface again. Then it emerged from the bottom of the sea. How about it? I am stood on the bow of the boat with his hands behind his back and asked without looking back. The 2 5 elders shook off the water, then he said calmly. No trace of the 2 submarines was found. They shouldn't be here. 2.5 may have gone somewhere with Sir Ron. And there are no traces of sunken ships below, which means there should be no large-scale battles here. There should be very few ships passing by here. The 5 elders expressed all their conjectures. I am hearing this, staring into the distance, he fell into deep thought. Their current position is awkward, not sure where to go. 252. The sky is broken, it must be Ron previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Now it can be said that there is no clue at all. Where to go to find Ron? Where did they go? This is really a headache, because there are no traces left. If Ron's fleet is really in danger here, then there must be a sunken ship nearby. It's impossible to survive the battle without sinking a single ship. But just now the 2 5 elders went down to check and found that there was no sunken ship on the entire seabed. This means that no fighting took place here, and there are no broken parts of the ship on the sea. So now a very accurate conclusion can be drawn. At least Ron's fleet has not been attacked here, which means that there has not been any battle here. Then the answer is obvious. They must have left here and continued in some direction. It turns out that's what went wrong there. Advertisement. Because this position is the last position report sent back by the 2 submarines. According to the reporting principle, it must be sent every hour. In other words, from here, they sailed for less than an hour and disappeared. So, next, choose a direction, then just look there for an hour's journey. But here's the thing. Where to go? They can only rule out one direction, which is the direction they came from before. But I don't know where to look for other directions. The 5 elders also fell into deep thought. They also felt that Lord I Am was thinking now, so they did not dare to speak. I Am sighed and thought for a long time but couldn't find a specific method. I wish I had marked the location to Roughdale. I am very clear that Ron must be heading towards the final island of Raftel. If they now know the location of the final island, they will definitely find Ron if they head in that direction. Pity. Advertisement. I Am didn't ask Ron at the time. It was also because Ron was in too much of a hurry to leave. I Am was not informed of this location, so there is no other way now. At this time, 5 elders suddenly said, Lord I Am, look at the weather over there. 5 elders pointed southwest. I Am followed the 5 elders' gaze and looked over. Really found something unusual there. At this moment, the whole sea is still calm. But that was the only place where the sky was covered with dark clouds. And there was a gaping hole between the dark clouds. It was as if some powerful force had dispersed the dark clouds. If it was just a dark cloud, Aina actually didn't think it was anything. But when she saw that the dark cloud had been divided into 2. Advertisement, it was as if something touched her brain. Why is this so much like the effect of Ron's punch? I Am couldn't help but think. 910 as soon as I think of this. I am feeling more and more likely, so he said to the 5 elders with great appreciation. Good. This discovery of yours is very useful. The whole army changes direction. I am immediately ordered to turn around and set off towards the place with the abnormality in the sky. In fact, 5 elders and I Am have the same idea. They also felt a little strange when they saw it. According to normal terms, generally, dark clouds are one piece and cannot be separated directly from the middle. So it is very likely that Lord Ron did it. Anyway, there are no other clues now, so why not take a look? 253. I am also came to the sea area of Ravdell previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. If you weren't close to here, you wouldn't be able to detect anything unusual in the sky here. When I am and others move in this direction, the distance is getting closer. I also found that things here are getting more and more unusual. There must be a problem here. The 5 elders also discovered that the closer to here, the weather in the sky and the sea became unstable. It seems there must be something here. If I guessed correctly, Lord Ron must be here too. That's right, look at that mark in the sky, it must have been punched by Master Ron. I have seen Master Ron's punch before, and it is definitely as powerful as this. The 5 elders started discussing. After all, from the current perspective, Ron is the only one who can cause such destructive power. I am still stood at the bow of the boat, with his hands behind his back and didn't speak. By observing your surroundings, I am judged that this was definitely the necessary passage to Raftel. If this is the case, then Ron will definitely pass by here. Advertisement. In other words, they're heading in the right direction now. Just keep going in this direction, Ron will be found. However, this also reflects a problem, through his calculation of time just now. It took almost an hour to get here from the previous location. That is to say, they lost contact only after entering the sea area ahead. When I think of this, I am couldn't help but frown a little. It seems that it is not simple here, after a short voyage. Everyone has arrived at this unusual sea area, the warship also had to stop. Because there is simply no way to continue sailing forward. It's like there are 2 worlds. Use the seawater in front of you as the dividing line. Advertisement. There was lightning and thunder, violent storms and rain ahead, and the entire sea was in violent tumbling. The area where they were was peaceful. As long as they sail 10 meters further, they will enter this violent sea area. Have to say, this place is indeed like purgatory on Earth. It's really too scary, waves can rise hundreds of meters high. They had no doubt that if the warship entered, it would be overturned in an instant. Moreover, lightning continued to strike from the sky. What's even scarier is, there are also tornadoes that are like a connection between heaven and earth. In wanton cutting in the sea, one Uzumaki after another in the sea. It seems as if it can swallow all the passing ships. Even with the 5 elders being so knowledgeable. At this moment, it was also the first time to see such a terrifying sea area, which made the 5 old guys feel shivers down their spines. This is too terrible. Advertisement. Still want to keep moving forward? If we continue to move forward, everyone will be given their jobs here. This is simply not something that humans can contend with. No matter which ship enters, there will be no return. The 5 old guys looked at each other. At the same time, he looked at I am. Because they understand. If Lord I am, Liao Wanghao, orders the ship to be sailed in, then the 5 of them can only resign themselves to their fate. Anyway, they didn't dare to disobey Im's order, so now. Life or death depends on how I am Sama decides Dong. And at this moment, I am frowned and looked at the raging sea ahead. Also fell into a dilemma. He knew very well that even with his own strength, he would not be able to survive in this sea area. Did Ron really go in? 254. Rush in previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. If we go in, we will definitely die. What can we do? It looks like Master I am is about to go in. Indeed, I have a bad feeling. It seems that our lives will be at stake here. I didn't expect there to be such a dangerous place on this sea. Let alone going in, just looking at it here makes me feel frightened. Then what can we do? If Lord I am really gives the order, can we not follow him in? We have no choice. Let everything be left to fate. It all depends on Master Im's choice. I hope Master I am will not be so impulsive. How is this possible? Don't you know how worried Master I am is about Master Ron? I doubt that Master I am is thinking about how to rush in now. The 5 elders looked at each other and then began to worry about each other. If you look at 890 from this current perspective, there is no other way, but it's really dangerous to go in. What should I do? To be honest, the 5 of them really didn't want to go in with Master I am. But this is not something the 5 of them can do. They had no doubt that if they chose to escape now, I am would kill all 5 of them without hesitation. So they have no choice. Advertisement. I dare not resist I am at all. Although they have never fought against I am, but they just believed in I am's strength. If you choose to confront her, you will be dead, and there will be no hope of victory at all. So what to do now? 5 elders didn't know how to choose for a while. I can only leave it to fate, and this time, I am suddenly looked up at the sea ahead. He said calmly, if I'm not wrong, Ron and the others should have passed it by now. In other words, they are now trapped in this sea area. That's why they have lost contact with the outside world. Get ready to rush in. Im's eyes were firm. If his brother Ron is really trapped inside, then she will continue to rescue Ron no matter what the cost. Advertisement. Even if the front is a dangerous place with no life or death. She would also rush in without hesitation. I heard I am saying this. The 5 elders are disheartened. BFFG. They knew they would die if they rushed in. But now I can only obey IM's orders. Start turning the warship around. Aiming at the terrifying sea ahead, the 5 elders took a deep breath and were ready to resume eating. In all my years of living, I have never been so scared. Looking at the rough waves ahead, the sound of huge waves was deafening. The 5 old guys looked at each other. Then he gritted his teeth and stamped his feet. A big wave of his hand. Advertisement ordered his soldiers to move forward at full speed. To be honest, these soldiers were trembling with fear. This is simply asking for death, but they are just soldiers. How can they have the courage to resist the 5 elders? So after receiving the order, they were also prepared to die. Anyway, there is no other way now, just bite the bullet and rush in. Then, the entire warship began to plunge into this terrifying area. Just entered this sea area, the whole ship shook violently. It seemed to be falling apart, making a squeaking sound that was harsh. The 5 elders were even a little unsteady on their feet. Looking at this situation, the warship will not last long before it falls apart. This is too terrible. 255. Did Ron's ship sink here? Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Oops, Master I am. Hurry in, the boat is going to capsize. Hurry up and protect Lord I am and put up the sails. If this continues, the ship will capsize soon. Be careful, the left side of the ship has been broken, and water has seeped in. Block it quickly, and order people to block it. No, the mast has been blown off. No, it wasn't blown, it was struck by lightning just now. It's really too dangerous here. The rudder has failed and the ship can't change direction. The waves just now were so strong that they broke the keel in front of the ship. This is a warship, and I didn't expect it to be able to withstand the impact. Suddenly, the 5 elders became anxious. This sea area was so dangerous that the ship was already useless before they sailed 100 meters. It is estimated that in a few minutes, the ship will disintegrate and everyone will be dead by then. Too bad. If we rush back now, is it still too late? The 5 elders immediately looked back and realized that it was too late. What can we do? It's too dangerous. Everyone couldn't help but feel cool in the west mouth. Now the boat is in dilapidated condition everywhere, with several big holes leaking in the bottom of the boat. Advertisement. 5 elders ordered the soldiers to block it. But these soldiers were already dizzy from the violent turbulence just now. Already passed out. No one is available now. The only ones who were still awake on the entire ship were the 5 elders and I am. Now 5 elders can't help but take a deep breath. If you don't want to die, you must do it yourself now. These 5 old guys immediately rushed to various parts of the ship and started repairing it. It can be delayed just a little longer. If it is not repaired, the ship will not survive for a minute. Quickly throw away the broken rail to prevent it from causing secondary damage to the boat. Immediately afterwards, I started picking up tools again and repairing the leaky spots on the hull. The waves were really strong. Advertisement. The huge waves hit it like a huge hammer hitting the hull. Basically every time I take a picture, a big hole will be made in the boat. Violent impact coupled with tornado tearing. The ship is already rocking. At this time, I.M. was still standing on the bow of the boat. Look straight ahead. She could already feel that this ship could not last much longer. But Ron et al. Were still not found. Where are they? 140. Could it be that it has sunk to the bottom of the sea? In fact, there is not much essential difference between your own ship and Marine's ship. If even his ship couldn't hold on, then Marine's ship probably couldn't hold on either. We have only sailed 100 meters now. In other words, the ship of Ron and others can only sail so far. Advertisement. If they did sink, then the most likely zone of silence is where they are now. I am thinking of this. He couldn't help but look towards the sea. It's a pity that he has demon fruit power. Otherwise, I really want to swim under the sea to see if there is any marine ship. Immediately shouted. You 5, don't waste your time there. This ship can no longer be repaired. Come here, everyone. After giving the order, the 5 elders could only put down what they were doing and hurried over. Even with their skills, there is no way to maintain absolute balance on the boat. If one is not careful at this time, it is easy to be thrown directly. So everyone is being cautious at this time, for fear of being involved in this terrifying sea. You will definitely die if you go down. Lu. 256. A city was discovered under the sea. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The 5 elders were repairing the cabin when they were suddenly called over to fix the damage. Still in a confused state. I don't know what Master Im's idea was at all. After all, the top priority now should be repairing the ship. If the ship is not repaired well, then all of them will sink to the bottom of the sea. It will be over by then. Therefore, the top priority now is to repair the ship and slow down the time when the ship breaks down. But while they were meditating, they were suddenly called up. So the 5 old guys are confused now. Time is very tight now. If there is no urgent repair, then the ship may not survive for a minute. What's the point of calling them up at this time? Wouldn't this delay ship repairs? But the 5 old guys didn't dare to disobey the order. After all, it was Lord Im's order. So just do it. After everyone came up, they saw Im standing on the bow of the boat. I found Master Im looking down at the bottom of the sea. This not only made the 5 old guys suddenly feel chills running down their spines. Advertisement, I have a bad feeling. I saw the 5 of them looking at each other. Then whispered. I have a bad premonition. Looking at Master Im's action, it feels like. Yes, I also have a bad premonition. The 5 old guys took a deep breath and then came to Im. Im turned to look at the 5 of them and then said, "You guys jump into the sea." As soon as these words came out, 5 elders felt shocked all over. What does this mean? Should we just jump in? If you jump again you will die. Are you crazy? Their worst premonitions came true. Lord Im, why is this? The 5 elders looked at each other and then asked. Im said angrily, "Advertisement, you can jump if you are told. Let me see what's going on at the bottom of the sea. Are there any silent warships?" I heard that Im's tone turned bad. These 5 old guys were so scared that they were sweating all over. Don't dare to neglect, but they also heard it. Why let them go down? It seemed that Im suspected that the warship had sunk here, so he asked them to go down and see if there were any wreckage of the warship. Think of this. Everyone took a deep breath, looking at the rolling sea water below. If you jump this way, you will basically have a narrow escape. Whether it can come up is still unknown. Have a determined attitude. The 5 old men looked at each other again, then they stood neatly around the deck. At the same time, he jumped towards the bottom of the sea. I have to say that the water properties of 5 elders are quite good, but fortunately they're not demon fruit power. Falling into the sea with a splash, advertisement. They were swept apart by the sea in an instant. They had no way to resist the power of this huge wave on the seabed. Even the whole body could barely bear it, almost torn apart. Fortunately, the 5 elders had quick eyesight and quick hands, and used Haki's body protection immediately. This is the first time I see someone swimming with armament Haki. The 5 people quickly swam to the bottom of the sea. Have to say, the sea bottom is still relatively calm at 1.6. After everyone swam to the bottom of the sea, the force of the waves is not as strong as above. Only then did they open their eyes, carefully look at the seabed. I found this place very unusual. The normal seabed is basically all kinds of gravel or messy creatures. But it is an ancient city. Seeing this scene, everyone couldn't help but be stunned. 257. Is there anyone else in the underwater city? Previous chapter? Next chapter advertisement. This is really incredible. Why is there a city under the sea? This city looks very old. What exactly is this place? Why does this place sink to the bottom of the sea? This moment made 5 elders feel a little incredible. In the end, what happened? Where exactly is this place? At this moment, the 5 elders couldn't help but look at each other on the bottom of the sea. Although they can't speak now, but the 5 of them could see the shock in each other's expressions. After all, before they came to the bottom of the sea, they had no idea that there was a city here. And look at this architectural style, it must be extremely old. 15. But they had never heard of a flooded city in this place. Advertisement. After all, the 5 elders have all the information in the world. It stands to reason that there should be nothing they don't know. But the situation in front of them has already touched their knowledge blind spot. They must report this situation to Lord Im as soon as possible. They were just about to swim back. Suddenly, I found that there seemed to be some kind of life form in this city. Out of curiosity, several of them paused and headed upstream. After all, they also need to relax down there, because the waves above are too fast. It was easy to tear their bodies into pieces, so in the relatively calm sea below, it's relatively safe. After all, they are all masters of physical skills, so they can still hold their breath for a long time under the sea. Now, the 5 of them made a gesture to each other. These 5 old guys still have a tacit understanding. Then it showed a different direction and swam towards the mysterious thing on the bottom of the sea. Advertisement. For safety reasons, they avoided gathering together and instead formed a formation that could support each other. Because the appearance of such a city in the deep sea is inherently terrifying. At this moment, I discovered that there were lights flickering inside. It's as if something is living there. This really makes people feel a little incredible. So, for safety reasons, everyone must spread out and form a formation that can support each other. In this way, we can help you as soon as possible if you encounter problems. Even if there is no way to save your companions, you can still escape as soon as possible. Convey this news to Lord Im above. The 5 old guys slowly approached the light below. To be honest, some of them are quite scared, because judging from the current situation. In such a deep sea place, advertisement, especially in such dangerous sea areas. There exists a city below that has never existed on record. The most terrifying thing is that there seems to be some kind of creature alive inside. 223 This not only makes everyone feel a little scared. Even if they are 5 elders, when faced with this situation. I was also very energetic, it is absolutely impossible to be careless. One of the 5 elders made a gesture, meaning that he would go up and take a look first. Keep others ready behind you. The other 4 people made a look of agreement. Subsequently, this 5 elders stepped on the waves fiercely. Use shave directly in the sea. The huge reaction force caused him to shuttle directly towards the seabed like a missile. Extremely fast. I have to admit that 5 elders is still very strong. 258. The warship was destroyed by waves previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement I am still standing on the bow of the boat and looking down. The whole sea was filled with angry waves. I can't see anything at all. I can't see anything down there. What are the 5 elders doing? But it's been a long time since he came up, which really makes I am a little annoyed. At this moment she couldn't help but frown. I don't know what those 5 guys are doing. The waves wouldn't be enough for them to die below. I am still aware of this. Otherwise, it would be impossible to let 5 of them go down. But why hasn't it taken so long? Shouldn't we just let them go down and see what's on the bottom of the sea? Logically speaking, it should be very soon. It has been almost 5 minutes now and no one has come up yet. Something is really wrong with this. My aunt looked at the warship at her feet and it couldn't hold on much longer. It was about to fall apart. If you continue to waste it like this, advertisement. I'm afraid the ship will soon fall apart. I am afraid that I will sink to the bottom of the sea by then. I am a demon fruit power. If I enter the bottom of the sea, I will probably die. So time is really tight now. She must find out what's under the sea as soon as possible. Are Ron and the others still in there? Was it sunk here? These problems must be solved as soon as possible. If you can't solve these questions, then your visit is in vain. Just as I was thinking, another huge wave hit. It was shot directly on the warship. Plop. Suddenly the whole ship disintegrated in an instant. Deafening. The entire ship breaks down right down the middle. The originally huge warship collapsed instantly. With a splash, it sank to the bottom of the sea. A foot stepped on the only piece of plywood that floated up. Advertisement: there are shipwrecks all around. In fact, we can't hold on for long by relying on this deck, but there is nothing we can do. I am, after all, demon fruit power. It cannot sink to the bottom of the sea. Seeing the surrounding waves becoming more and more fierce, I couldn't help but frown. Use your ability to forcefully offset the impact of surrounding waves. Barely keeping this deck safe, it will not be destroyed by the waves too quickly. What are these 5 guys doing down there? Why don't they come up yet? I am already a little angry, frowning, at the bottom of the ocean right now. It's not that the 5 elders didn't want to come up, but they found that this thing was too important, so they wanted to find out. That's why I didn't come up immediately. At this moment, the 5 elders are diving headlong towards the bottom of the sea. Advertisement: extremely fast. It didn't take long, but I had actually arrived at this underwater city. For safety reasons, the other 4 people wandered outside to observe the situation. They didn't all go in at the first time to avoid being picked up by others. The 5 elders looked at the surrounding buildings. It doesn't look like someone lived there, because it has been eroded by the seawater and has been completely changed beyond recognition. He took a rough look at Zhao's surroundings. Found no potential dangers. The 5 elders focused their attention on the front again. Sure enough, there was a standing light flashing there. It's really a bit unusual. In this silent city, what can emit such light? After all, it doesn't look like anyone has lived here. So this aroused his curiosity even more. I saw his feet speed up. The whole figure swam forward quickly. 259. Undersea City Adventure. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement: the 4-5 elders who are outside are also watching here attentively, for fear of missing any detail. After all, this kind of thing is unprecedented, and they are also responsible for the safety of their companions. So now I am watching the surroundings while watching the actions of my companions. It didn't take long. These 5 elders have come to shine. This is a 2-story loft. The door is rusty. Madara is in tatters. Driven by the waves. The old door made a creaking sound, which sounded extremely scary in this deep sea. There were all kinds of fish going in and out of the area. Obviously, the fish have regarded this place as their own place of survival. But obviously the fish shouldn't light the fire. So there must be some other techniques in it. 5 elders 957, Sword, was actually very cautious, and he did not rush in immediately. Instead, he swam around and checked to see if there were any traps or anything like that. Found it to be very safe, so we came to the main entrance. Then he directly pulled out the 1st-generation ghost in his hand. In an instant, a blue slash directly cut through the dark seabed. Advertisement split the entire depths of the ocean into 2. The huge slash cut through the water. In an instant, we arrived in front of this dilapidated house. Just tear off the entire roof. Have to say, the 5 elders are still very powerful, and they can show great experience even in the deep sea. A random knife. Just cut this solid house in two, BFEF. Its power can be imagined. 5 elders takes the safest approach. It is definitely the stupidest thing to go in hastily at this time, so he doesn't know how to do it. So you choose to destroy the house from the outside and then see what's going on inside. This eliminates the danger. The 5 elders swam gently upward. At this moment, the roof of the entire second-story attic has been lifted off. It's easy to see clearly what's inside. The 5 elders are now in the sky. He wanted to see what was glowing at the bottom of the ocean. This was indeed the answer he most wanted to know so far. So, advertisement, the top priority now is to find out immediately. This move also attracted the attention of the other 4 or 5 elders. Although they were relatively far away from here, they couldn't see clearly what was going on. But he is still staring here with all his concentration. On the one hand, it is also for the safety of his teammates. The 5 elders came to the sky. When looking down, I couldn't help but feel stunned. This light had turned out to be a searchlight used by humans. Although it is a bit old, it has rust on it, Madara. But it is indeed used by humans, that is to say. There are indeed humans living here. When I think of this, the 5 elders quickly looked around in case they were ambushed. After looking around, I found that there was no danger, so I felt relieved. Look at the style of this lamp. It's definitely not what people use today. So I immediately ruled out that it was something left over from Ron's fleet. Advertisement makes sure again and again that there is nothing dangerous here. The 5 elders then swam forward, then quietly entered this dilapidated room. I found that there were no traces of human life around, but there was a light. This is very strange. Could it be said that this light has always been here? Neither. Judging from the surrounding environment, this lamp should have been left here recently. That is to say, someone passed by here not long ago with this lamp, and then put it here for some unknown reason. It seemed that this room was not the place for its long stay. Just passing by. In other words, although there are human beings living here. But the place where they live should not be here, but maybe in the center of the city. Thinking of this, the 5 elders couldn't help but look towards the center of the city. Although it was dark inside, nothing could be seen. But he used observation hockey and could vaguely feel the presence of a creature over there. If you want to know the answer, it seems that we have to explore deeper. 260. The 5 elders reported the findings on the seabed to IM. Previous chapter, next chapter advertisement, but he cannot make decisions on his own. Because this is a very dangerous place. After all, this is a very unfamiliar place. And it's still under the sea. Its own strength on the seabed is limited, and it is not very convenient to fight. Therefore, we must not move forward rashly at this time. You must report this news back to others. Think of this. 5 elders, sword, then turned around. He held the broken lamp in his hand. Then he swam back in the direction of the other 4 teammates. Several other people saw the 5 elders holding a lamp in his hand. I finally understand. It seems that there are indeed traces of human existence here? Who must have left this lamp here? When the 5 elders swam over, everyone looked at the shape of the lamp. Advertisement, it's finally confirmed. This kind of thing must be a product of ancient human civilization. So there are indeed people living in this city. This is a huge discovery. Everyone patrolled around again and completed the task assigned to them by Lord IM. Make sure there are no shipwrecks around. In other words, Lord Ron's fleet cannot be silent here. After confirming this, everyone was relieved. Then he swam up toward the sea. The harvest this time was really great, but everyone hesitated as they moved higher, feeling the turbulence of the waves. This is really a headache. If this was in a calm sea, this would be a big discovery. They could send people over to study the seabed. But for example, if an army was sent into this sea area, even a few of them almost died in it. For an ordinary person, there would be no hope of living at all. So even if they know that this place is very mysterious and that it is a place worth exploring, they still have no way. Advertisement, in fact, the 5 people were thinking as they went upriver. The climate here is so abnormal. Is it related to the city below? It's just that I can't think of anything useful when I think about it now. Therefore, everyone still plans to report the news to Lord IM first and see what he decides. But after 5 elders finally swam up, suddenly it was discovered that the warship was missing. Moreover, the entire sea area is full of wreckage of warships. This made them worried for 5 moments. After emerging from the sea, he was finally able to speak. What's going on? Where is Lord IM? Why was this ship destroyed? When I waited, the ship couldn't last much longer, so it was no big surprise that it was destroyed. The most critical question now is, where is Lord IM? Several people looked around and searched everywhere, but found no trace of IM. This moment made the 5 people nervous. A bad premonition suddenly appeared in my heart. Isn't it possible that Lord I Am has been killed? Shut your crow mouth, I don't believe that Lord I Am was killed so easily. Advertisement, go look around. Because the surrounding visibility is really very low. So it's not easy to find, but fortunately they were carrying a lamp in their hands. It is very obvious in this invisible place, so although they couldn't find I Am could see them through this light. It didn't take long. Im's voice came. Sure enough, through this light, I Am discovered that the 5 of them had finally come up. At this moment, the 5 elders saw I Am, stepping on the broken deck. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. That's great, just be okay. It made them worry for a long time just now. Subsequently, the 5 elders also found a broken deck and stood on it. Then he reported everything he saw on the bottom of the sea to Yimsu. 261. To go to Raftel, you must pass through the underwater city. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I Am was stunned for a moment after hearing this. She never imagined that there was a city under the sea. This is really unbelievable. And according to the report from the 5 elders just now, there seems to be traces of human existence down there. This is the scariest thing. Below this turbulent sea, it seems that there are many unknown secrets hidden there. What kind of people would live down there? Could it be said that they are the 237 type of native people in this city? In other words, after this city was submerged by the sea, the humans below evolved the ability to live under the sea. Then he lived there. If it is like this, advertisement, then these humans are probably humans from hundreds of years ago. After all, according to the 5 elders' report, the architectural style of the city below should be very ancient. I Am frowned. He took the broken lamp handed over by the 5th old star. Looked at it carefully. From the general analysis of the design, structure and material of the lamp, it should be at least 800 years ago. Im's understanding of this world is deeper than that of the 5 elders. There is a lot of hidden history that only she knows. But he racked his brains and couldn't figure out which city was submerged 800 years ago. And the geographical location here has not been marked on the map before. So even he didn't know the origins of this sunken city and the humans living below. But now is not the time to think about that, because I know that I am here to find Ron after all, so these things are not important to her for the time being. So she looked at the 5 elders around her and asked, besides this, did you find anything else when you went down? Advertisement. The 5 elders looked at each other, and they knew what Lord I Am was asking. I thought about it for a while and then said it again. Lord I Am, no shipwrecks were found below. That means Lord Ron's fleet has never been here. I Am couldn't help but feel relieved after hearing this. This also means that at least Ron and others can get through safely here. That's good. As long as it doesn't sink here, everything else is fine. But now we face a new problem. Where did Ron go? Could he really make it across such rough waters? It's really confusing, but your ability as a guy should be no problem. The 5 elders saw Lord I Am meditating there. I didn't dare to talk and disturb him. Advertisement. But their current situation is not very good. This splint under my feet won't last long at all. And the storm became more violent the farther we went. The danger is also greater, so the top priority now is to get out of here. They don't even have a boat now, and the chance of crossing this sea has been reduced to the lowest. Bang! Another big wave came over, directly knocking off the deck of a 5-year-old star. Fortunately, this 5 elders used moonwalk in advance and flew to the deck where the other 5 elders were. Otherwise, it will be sucked into the seabed again. I thought about it for 10.60 minutes. I Am finally made a decision. If this is the only way to Raftel, then the city hidden under the sea is a very critical point. Just think about it, if Raftel is really on the sea, then why did Song Lingjia find a place in 800 years? So I deduce that if you want to go to Raftel must pass through the city under the sea. 262. Reasonable inference. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After hearing what Lord I Am said, the 5 elders instantly felt that it made sense. After all, if Raftel was really on the sea, it would be impossible for Roger alone to have been to that place after so many years. Even if it was an accidental collision, other ships would definitely encounter it. So, it can be judged that Raftel will definitely not be on the sea. Then combined with this mysterious city they encountered under the sea, it's entirely possible to deduce now. It's possible that Raftel is at the bottom of the ocean. As long as you pass through this city, 15 can find the location of Raftel. This explains why, after so many years, no one has discovered the final island of Raftel. 5 elders also thinks this idea makes sense. He nodded repeatedly. As expected of I Am Sama, I never thought that I Am Sama could analyze the location of the final island without having a map location. Advertisement. I am really impressed. I have to say that 5 elders is very good at flattering people. But it's obvious that I Am doesn't agree with this. She said lightly. No, if you want to find Raftel, you still need a map. We have only roughly determined his entry path now, and we don't know the specific location. If I can think of it, Ron must also be able to think of it, so if I guess correctly, then Ron should have gone to Raftel through the bottom of the sea by now. This also explains why our phone bugs can't contact them. There should be something blocking communication when they were at the bottom of the sea. Hearing Im's analysis, the 5 elders couldn't help but nod their heads. I feel more and more that what Lord Im said is very reasonable. The reason why this sea area is so violent is actually an illusion. Its main purpose is also to prevent anyone from entering Loudale. And such violent waters can prevent people from exploring the seabed. The location of Raftel is even more hidden. Advertisement. So this place now is most likely the entrance to Raftel. The 5 elders looked at each other and then looked at Lord Im. Then he slowly spoke. Lord Im, what should we do now? Should we go in? Im was silent for a moment. After all, she is not a reckless person. Although it has been judged, Ron probably entered through this road. But not 100% sure, so Im doesn't dare to make an easy decision now. Otherwise, it is likely to run counter to Ron. After all, the purpose of coming here was not to find Raftel, but to find Ron. So, everything must be decided carefully. Advertisement. After all, in this vast sea, once you pass by or miss it, it will be difficult to find it again. So they have to think twice before taking action 670 every time and decide the right direction before taking action. Im looked around at the surrounding waves becoming more and more violent. If this continues, they won't be able to hold on the sea for long. So I actually don't have a choice now. Only by exploring downward can they have a chance to survive and find Ron. Thinking of this, Im no longer hesitated. Instead, he looked at the bottom of the sea and said, "Then go take a look and take the path below." As soon as this statement came out, 5 elders felt shocked instantly. This is no joke. Im-sama is demon fruit power. How can he get down if he can't swim? 263. Go underwater. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Thinking of this, the 5 elders were extremely worried. Judging from the current situation, there is simply no way to make demon fruit power swim in the sea. So, if Lord Im has made this decision, what should he do? Don't take any chances. The devil fruit ability is extremely dangerous in the water. When I think of this, these 5 elders feel a little difficult to deal with. What can we do about it? But looking at Master Im like this, there seems to be no way to dissuade him. He seemed ready to go into the water if he had his own way. This is really a headache. 5 elders thought for a long time before speaking cautiously. Master Im, you are demon fruit power and cannot enter the bottom of the sea, so you have to think carefully. Advertisement. Of course Im understands that he is demon fruit power. And there is more than one fruit ability. He was frowning now. I seem to have thought about this issue as well. But now there is no other way. If you want to continue looking for Ron, you can only start from the bottom of the sea. Because according to his judgment, Ron must have entered the bottom of the sea. So, the top priority now is to catch up immediately if the delay here is too long. I'm afraid that the distance between Ron and Ron will become farther and farther away, and it will be difficult to find him again. I have decided to go into the water immediately. Don't worry, I have ways to keep myself safe. You guys just need to lead the way. At this time, I saw him speaking lightly. Lord Im, absolutely not. The 5 elders became even more nervous after hearing this. If all of them swim to the front, there will be no way to discover it immediately. Advertisement. Sir Im, okay, but we should stay behind you. This way we can rescue you as soon as possible if you encounter danger. You guys can just lead the way, seeing that Im has already made a decision. Because the environment on the sea is getting worse and worse, with thunder and lightning and rough waves. How can this be done? Im still Hockey said extremely. Of course Im wouldn't be so reckless. Now it is urgent to get into the water and mix. To act knowingly that one cannot do anything is definitely mentally ill. As the highest authority in the world government, he is not such a person. 5 elders has not come up with a specific way to keep Im safe at the bottom of the sea. Im still very decisive. After thinking for a while, he said. But it's obvious that Im has made a decision now. Hear this. No need. Advertisement. The 5 elders dived into the water at the same time. So it was decided that it would be better to protect it from behind. The old splints under my feet could not last much longer. In this way, any danger can be discovered immediately. Instead of wasting time here, it's better to get into the water quickly while you still have plenty of energy. So the wisest move now is to prevent him from entering the water. Several other people didn't know what to say. 5 elders has nothing to say. The 5 elders were afraid that Im would lose control if he entered the water. Im shook her head and said, "Are you crazy? Never go into the water? Come and let Im. Think of this. It's really dangerous to go into the water at this time. The waves down there are really rough. Lord Im is a user of fruit abilities, so it's even more dangerous in a place like this. 264. Did Ron really pass by here? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The seabed is not as peaceful as everyone imagines. The waves are as rough and dangerous as those on the sea. Even someone as powerful as the five elders, it was washed away the moment it entered the seabed. No. The danger level of this seabed is even higher than when we entered it before. The currents under the entire sea surface have become more turbulent than before. Where's Master I Am? Go and see how Master I Am is doing. Although the five elders said they had been dispersed now, they knew what each other was talking about through their eyes. Now, facing the increasingly turbulent sea bottom, even the five of them who are not demon fruit power already feel very strenuous. So, at this time, it's I Am of demon fruit power. Isn't 213 even worse? When I think of this, the five elders were extremely worried. Start looking for I Am immediately, but now the entire sea is really chaotic. The waves were rough and the water was too turbulent, which blocked the view. There was no way to see too far away. Advertisement. Even if you use the color of knowledge to travel under the sea, you can't travel too far distance. So now, the five elders can't find Lord I Am. This is really a headache. At this moment, the expressions of the five old guys suddenly became ugly. If it can't be found, that would be tragic. When I think of this, the five elders immediately stopped diving. Then he started looking for I Am everywhere. After all, for them, I Am is demon fruit power, so the bottom of the sea is very dangerous. Because those with fruit abilities cannot come into contact with seawater. Once they come into contact with seawater, they will become weak. But at this moment, suddenly, a big hole was opened in the seawater. A figure, like a grenade, it shuttled directly down. The surrounding seawater seemed to be pushed away by a huge repulsive force. A vacuum zone formed around this figure. Advertisement. There is no way to touch this figure. Of course, the five elders recognized who this man was. It became extremely exciting at the moment. Very good. Finally found Master I Am. Have to admit, Lord I Am's strength is indeed very powerful. At this moment, the five elders don't know what kind of abilities I Am, BFDI, used. It was actually able to push away the seawater. But now is not the time to ask about that either. The five of them have not forgotten their mission. That is to lead the way for I Am Sama. Now that Lord I Am has been found, and it is confirmed that Lord I Am can move under the sea. So now, it's important to get down to business. So the five old guys swam forward desperately, but their speed is really slow. Although I Am entered the water later, he overtook them in an instant. This made the five old guys look very ugly. Advertisement. After all, this is a failure in doing things, and you will definitely be scolded again soon. Under the desperate pursuit of five old guys, finally, a group of people finally arrived at the underwater city they had discovered before. Everyone also stopped. Five elders pointed in one direction, signaling to go that way. Then, everyone headed there. Have to say, this deep sea city really feels very scary. It's so quiet here. I Am also frowned at this moment. He looked around carefully. No trace of large-scale warships passing through was found. Did Ron really pass by here? Forget it. There is no time to think about this now. If you have come this far, you must keep going. I hope my choice is right. 265. Arrival at Lovedale. Reveal One Piece. Meet I Am Ron. Previous chapter. Advertisement. This underwater city is extremely dark. But the priority now has to be finding Ron immediately. Therefore, even though there are many unknown dangers ahead, I Am decided to move on. So with a wave of his hand, five elders opened the way. Follow closely behind yourself. I have to say that it is indeed very easy to get lost here. Do they have a specific direction? We can only dive in along the front. Another long time passed. Risking his life many times, he finally crossed the city. Suddenly a huge tower-shaped building was discovered on the bottom of the sea. Made of pure sea stone. Extremely high, as if directly connected to the sea. This made I Am couldn't help but feel happy. The existence of this building on the seabed is indeed very strange, but it also shows that they have found the right place. It seems this is it. You guys go and see if this gate can be opened. I Am said to the five elders. Wherever the five elders dared to disobey I Am's order, they immediately set off to check. These five old guys are very cautious. First, he walked around the giant tower. I found that there were no suspicious traps or dangers around. Only then did we arrive in front of the gate. Several people studied it carefully for a long time, but found no clues. I didn't find a way to get in. This door is closed. The five old guys are all masters of physical skills, but even so they can't open the door. This not only made the five of them very puzzled. Why does such a tall tower exist on the seabed? Rather than saying it is a tower, it is more like a channel connecting from the bottom of the sea to the surface of the sea. These five old guys are not stupid either. After a little analysis, they made a rough guess. Although there was no way to be sure, They guessed that the door should enter the tower, and then there would be a passage on the tower, through which they should be able to go directly to the sea. But what is on this sea? The 5 of them have no way of knowing. The top priority now must be to open this door and then go in and take a look. After all, they have come here, and it is impossible for them to return without success. Besides, Master I Am is watching from behind, and the 5 of them must open this door. Advertisement 5 Elders, Fat, is impatient. Damn it, since there is nothing you can do about this door, just open it in the normal way and destroy it directly for him. Let me. I saw this fat old man taking a few steps back. Then he stepped hard on the ground, his whole body in the water, and jumped out like a torpedo. Armed color entanglement, he hit the door directly. There was a bang. Circles of seawater spread out like shockwaves. But the door didn't move. On the contrary, the fat old man was hit hard and his brain was dizzy. What a solid door. 5 Elders, Sword, couldn't help but secretly said. Then first generation Kitetsu was drawn. Place it around your waist. Draw your sword and chop. In an instant, a faint blue slash cut through the deep sea. Almost split the entire seabed into 2. I saw this slash hitting the gate directly. There's nothing he can't cut through. That's the moment. This slash was like a mud cow entering the sea. The moment it touched the door, it immediately dissipated without causing any ripples. This made the 2 5 Elders feel a little incredible for a moment. So sturdy. Since there is no way to destroy it, how can we get in? The 2 old guys were suddenly in danger. After all, if you fail to fulfill Lord Im's orders, you will easily be punished by Lord Im. What are you 5 old guys talking about? As expected. It didn't take long for Im to roar angrily. The 5 Elders were shocked. I could only say awkwardly, Lord Im, this can't be opened at all. No matter whether it is destruction or various means, there is no way to open this door. Master Ron, didn't you go in too? Im said coldly. Do you think Ron is as stupid as the 5 of you? After Im said this, the 5 Elders did not dare to refute. Advertisement he could only lower his head in embarrassment. Im came to the gate. I tried attacking twice, but it did not shake the door at all. Im subconsciously knocked on the door, although this move is a bit funny. But there is really no other way to open the door now. When you encounter a door that cannot be opened, it is actually reasonable to knock on it. However, no one thought that at this moment, there was a squeak. The door is open. This made 5 Elders' expression change, extremely ugly. No one expected that the door that could not be opened would open with just one knock. Just knock on the door. This after the door opened, something unexpected happened. There was no water at all in the entire tower. It's obviously buried under the sea. But it's like being on the ground. Im stepped directly into the tower without hesitation. 5 Elders followed closely. After entering, I found a spiral staircase. Straight to the top. Because I'm not sure if there are any unknown dangers inside. So Im and Wu Laoshang didn't plan to take the stairs. Instead, just use moonwalk. Vertically upward. All 6 of them are masters of physical arts. Although this tower is very high, it is not a problem for them. Less than 5 minutes have passed. 6 people have arrived at the top of the tower. There is no way up there, but there is a door. Based on the last experience, no one used the face calendar to destroy it. Instead, tap lightly with your fingers, as expected. The door opened again. 6 guys walked out of the door. He was immediately stunned by the sight in front of him. Advertisement this is actually a small island. When I looked up, I saw Marines all around me. On the Pluton, a dark warship, Ron was there, looking over here. I am confused. The 5 Elders were also confused. Point 0 Unexpectedly, this tower actually leads directly from the bottom of the sea to an island. This tower is the only way to the island. I never thought there was such a mysterious island. At this time Ron came over and said, Sister, how did you find this place? Only then did Im come back to his senses, following in your footsteps, of course. By the way, where is this? Ron smiled lightly. This is the final island of Raftel. As soon as this statement came out, everyone couldn't help but take a breath. No wonder only Roger has been here in Raftel for so many years. It turns out the conditions for coming here are so harsh. If there wasn't a specific method, there would be no way to get here. What are you doing? Im saw Ron ordering Marine to carry out construction. I couldn't help but feel a little confused. Ron smiled. The environment here is good. I'm going to bring Marines total to this place 1,000 times over. In the next few days, Im and others got to know the island under the leadership of Ron. I finally know what the One Piece Roger mentioned is. It turned out to be a huge teleportation array. He connects all over the world. That is to say, entering the teleportation array from this island, you can reach any island in the world in an instant. This is equivalent to a central control hub. Can control the entire world. Just imagine, if you can reach any island instantly, then with Marine's military strength. You can completely control any place. Take precise control of the world. I am also finally understood why Ron decided to build Marine here. It seems starting today. Marine can be said to have complete control over the entire world. This book is perfect.